All right. So hopefully we'll be good to go here.
Going live right now.
We are live. Can we hear us?
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, want to do podcast intro then?
So if we need to.
That's about what it has.
Yeah.
Hello, hello. Testing 1 2. Hello. Okay, so you guys can hear us. Awesome.
Shaking.
We can hear y'all. Awesome, Dano. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Just doing a little testing before we fully get rolling here. Just making sure everything is good to go. What's up? All right. We're balling. Okay. Awesome.
We'll let people filter in here.
Yep.
About ready to get started here, guys. We're just making sure everything's looking good. We had all our Tinker Tailors messing around with everything. By that, I mean we had the Tinker and the Tailor, or the Tailor and the Tinker, or whatever, messing around with all the settings. So hopefully it's good to go for when Scott Porter joins the live stream. We are going to have a little bit of time before he gets on to go over a few things, just so we can save a little bit of time here. All right, you want to do the intro and all that jazz?
Sure.
Sure. Okay, we'll do the intro really quick. Because this is also going to be podcast, we're going to do some podcast-esque stuff. So just stick with us here. Hello and welcome back to Dial H for Heroclix. I'm your 6 Ranch hand co-host, Calderness. This episode, we're going to be having a full coverage overview of the Heroclix For Huntingtons charity event that's going to happen very soon. This is episode 462. Howdy, howdy, let's get rowdy. Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sale products. Make sure you check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. Joining me, like always, in the studio is Simeon Bruce. What's going on, Simeon?
That's me. I'm excited. I'm ready to roll. We are still pending friend request from Scott Porter, but once that gets underway, he's probably joining us around 6:30 if that's what you're tuning in for. But you know, that's what I'm excited.
Absolutely, absolutely. And not like always, but because it's the special podcast, we also have editor, producer, video man Ian Eggleston is also in the studio with us today.
That is me. We are in the studio. I had to completely uproot my computer into the living room so we could set everything up correctly. And let me tell you, moving a desktop, it's so much fun. But it is a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to this. This is really exciting. It's a first for Dial H. And always love doing the Sunday live streams. I think they're a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys do too. I love interacting with the community this way. And yeah, if you guys don't know, we do a regularly scheduled live show on YouTube every Sunday at 6 or 6:30, depending on our schedules. So check us out there. But yes, I'm doing great, Calder. Thank you for asking.
Like how we start off every podcast is with what made us happy this last week. Simeon, why don't you go ahead and tell us what made you happy this last week, my man?
Gosh, what made me happy this last week? There was
sound disappointed saying that.
There was definitely things that happened. I mean, I think Scott reaching out to us and saying that he wanted to be on the live stream was really cool. That was probably like a highlight for me. It was like, the guy that everybody wants on their show wants to be on our show. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. Other than that, just really windy, awful weather always makes me happy.
That was awesome.
Yeah. The best.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
We're almost out of second last winter and moving on to fake spring that'll eventually turn into like 90-degree days only.
Instant summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just skip right over to it. Ian, what made you happy this last week, my man?
We got to do some more filming. That's always a good time. Honestly, just with like the IPF kind of winding down, the May 15th deadline, that has been absorbing a lot of my time, just thinking about what all we're going to do to end cap this year. We're doing a live stream again next week, which could potentially be 24 hours, so that gets me excited. That makes me happy this week, knowing that there is an impending doom the following week.
Knowing that future us are in so much more pain
than current.
It's going to be tough.
Oh, they're going to suffer.
But no, it was fun. We've got a very fun gameplay video coming out. If you guys missed our gameplay videos on YouTube that had dials on screen, they are coming back. They are tedious to edit, but They're very worth it. People always comment on how much they love those, so we want to give those to you guys. And it will feature, I don't want to reveal what, and I don't want to reveal what it's for because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It'll feature some very popular figures in the meta or just outside the meta, as well as some figures that you might not normally see on a board. So it's a nice mix of casual, competitive, and it's just the boys playing. So it's a good time. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to getting that out. You guys can expect that sometime early this next week.
I really enjoyed filming that gameplay video. That was also
fun.
A ton of fun.
It's a new style. If you guys have critiques for that, for what's upcoming, when you see that video, please leave them in the comments. If you think there's a way that we can improve the gameplay videos, please don't think you're being like rude or anything. We are trying to develop a very dynamic way and informative way of showing the game. So let us know what more you want to see, if there's anything we can do to improve it, and we're happy to implement that. So we got some comments about that previously. That was a little too much, but we're respectful of that. We understand. We'll do as much as we can. But yeah, the YouTube has been ramping up this year, and just knowing that this week was another building block for it, that is what gets me pumped. It's what I love doing.
Well, what made me happy this last week is me and my little brother went over to Council Bluffs, the trek into Iowa, and they had their Brick Days convention or festival or thing going on in the Mid-America Center. And this was a big Lego event happening. So there were a ton of booths with a ton of Lego artists and sculptors with their really cool Lego creation. I took like 70 pictures of really cool builds while I was over there. There were some great ones. I really enjoyed it. There was just like a ton of just like Star Wars ships and different things akin to that, but things that were more so like outside the Lego realm that I really enjoyed. I'll have to show you this, Ian, since you're a big Ready Player One fan. But someone built
one of my favorite movies, like of all time.
That like
I don't know why.
Where I guess, because I'd never seen it, but it looked really cool. It had all of these old 80s and even newer characters running toward this big black like castle fortress thing with like a moat of lava for it. But I assume it was Ready Player One because it had like the Gundam, it had the DeLorean, it had all that stuff.
The last fight scene, spoiler.
And it was really, really cool looking. And even as someone who'd never seen the movie, I was like, this is like massive.
You've never seen it?
No, I've never seen that movie.
Wow.
No.
We'll have to watch. I'm always down to watch that movie. Like one of the few movies where I'm like, yeah, put that on. Let's go.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll tell you what isn't a movie that I don't want to put on all the time. You know what's funny is we all went to go see Evil Dead Rise this week.
Yeah.
Apparently that made none of us happy. I don't know if you were going to say that. It didn't sound like it.
No. That was probably the most disappointing thing that happened last week, was watching Evil Dead Rise. Spoiler-free review.
If I had never seen any of the other ones, I might have enjoyed it more.
Sure.
Maybe.
It wasn't a good movie, though. And the only
much of the movie is like juxtaposed on just like a really stupid barrier, both physically and kind of like metaphorically as well. Like what it's built on, what stops things from happening in this movie. I can't get over it with everything else that goes on, and it'll make sense if you see it.
To be fair, in Evil Dead 2, once they close like the cabin door, nothing really gets in. That's almost close to being a spoiler, but like
not even true though.
Ash couldn't get in when he turned into the guy.
I mean, let's talk about the second one where they got the floorboard. That broke.
That's true. They did break.
I mean, it's an Evil Dead spirit that can do apparently like everything. It's like Green Lantern, the evil spirits.
They can float, but they're apparently like
certain physical things stop them completely, and it's very mundane. So I don't know.
No, it is a really bad. It is just a.
They can float and fly, but they choose to crawl on walls.
We were done talking about the movie about 5 minutes after we saw it. Yeah. That's how I know that it was like there was no moment where we were all going like, "Whoa!" when that happened.
What about that part?
It was more so a discussion of like, I mean, that was kind of cool, like. That was about the extent of it. Sorry, I know I interrupted you. But
no, that's okay.
I just remembered that.
Yeah.
I forgot.
And I felt really bad because I was like telling everybody at work, I get to go see Evil Dead Rise tonight. I'm so excited. I'll let you know on Monday. And it's like, nope.
J.K.
Yeah, nope. Another minor thing that made me happy this week, kind of been hiding it from the live stream, as I went semi-blonde. This lighting is kind of, you can see the golden blonde. Yeah, didn't realize it was going to take 3 hours. Now I got a warning from the city of downtown Omaha on my vehicle.
Oh, being parked for
that
too
was
long.
Cool.
Yeah,
being parked for too long. I put it was like, hour and a half. That's enough. Nope.
No.
Certainly not.
Very cool.
That's okay. So that was fun. But yeah, the Brick Fair. I'll show you guys all the pictures because there were some seriously really cool things. I lost it way too hard when someone had a brick-built armored armadillo from Mega Man X. I was like, whoa!
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like, there's like so much cool stuff.
Mega Man X, some of the coolest Mega Man art.
Oh, love Mega Man X.
I remember, picking up like the original one from
good.
Sam's Club
It's so good.
when I was like probably like 8 or 9.
Really? It's Sam's
Yeah,
Club
dude,
they
Sam's
added?
Club
And the
dude,
SNES
and Menards.
Mega Man X.
Menards that's probably like local, isn't it?
Menards, yeah.
It's more.
It's like
more
it's
like
like a Home
Wisconsin
Depot.
to
But
something. west
Menards
or
and
east.
Sam's Club both, like when I was growing up, I don't know if they still do. They had like banger game selections. You could get your Roller Coaster Tycoon. Another awesome one that was iNinja for like GameCube and PS2.
Okay.
You don't remember this
No,
one?
I don't know. iNinja. I had
Low
PS2.
key
I don't
banger.
remember that one.
Anybody who's played that will agree with me. There was like, but the thing is, they were all like $5, $10. Beautiful Joe. If you've heard
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
Beautiful Joe. Yeah.
That one I bought at Menards
That's
for
good.
like literally $5, and I was like, "How is this at Menards?" So like when my dad would say like, yeah, I gotta go pick up 2x4s because I'm a man or whatever, it was always like, yes.
I just did that recently when I was back home about a month ago. We all went to Menards, and then I saw they had the entire 1980s Ninja Turtles series on like DVD box set for $30.
Heck yeah, dude.
And it was like hundreds of episodes, and I was like, I gotta get this. So yeah, my family's buying like construction material or
That's
whatever.
so sick, actually.
And then I just like go up and buy that, and I was like, yeah, my project's really important. And that was not the Riz for the girl to check out that she was looking for. She's like, yeah, okay, whatever, bro. But all right, we're going to get into some Heroclix for Huntington stuff to go over all the prizing, all of the events, just so that way we can save a little bit of time once Scott Porter gets on. Go ahead, cover everything here.
Yeah, and check this out, guys. Are you ready?
Flawless-
Boom! Look
flawless
at that.
transition.
Flawless transition. We've got the entire Heroclix for Huntington schedule ready to go for you.
You want to talk about Thursday, and then
yeah.
I'll do Friday, so you can do Saturday.
So very
back to
quickly,
Sunday.
because our camera's going to cover it, let's just cover the online BR prizing. So if you guys are not planning on going, don't worry. You still have opportunity to make it happen online. You can still get involved, and I highly suggest you do. This is a great cause. Scott Porter, I mean, if you don't love him, come on. Like, let's support the guy. Let's support his cause. Huntington's is a very serious disease. I'm sure Scott will talk all about this. So anyway, let's talk about how we can help. We've got the online BR prizing. So you'll be able to play BRs throughout the weekend online. I believe it is a $20 entry cost.
Yeah, it's all 4 days.
All 4 days you'll be able to do this. You might even have a chance to play with Scott if you decide to bid on that in the auction here. And so first and second place in these BRs will get a choice of the 2023 Heroclix for Huntington's Bystander by Scott Crampton, the Spirit of the Game from 2022, or the 2021 Scott Porter Bystander to go along with your matching Scott Porter figures coming out. They're all great.
They are.
Third and fourth will get one random tarot card from X of Swords main or OP set. Luck of the draw there. There's like 80 of them, 78, I think.
Yeah, about 78.
78 of them. So, but some of those tarot cards are like $40, $50. So there's a shot at that. So even if you're getting third or fourth, you still have an opportunity to get some cool prizing there. Prizing is drafted by placement, and players may opt to swap prizing if they desire. Your donation to enter an online battle royale is fully tax deductible as well, guys. So that's awesome. To receive a tax/gift acknowledgement from the HDSA, you can complete a registration form. It's really simple. Just get in contact with them. They'll send that your way, and then you can go ahead and write that stuff off.
It's pretty cool, actually.
But anyway, guys, one of the more exciting events that you will see at the Heroclix for Huntington's event, at least in my opinion, is the welcome event on Thursday. It starts at 7 p.m. CST. It is a cost of $15 per player, with $1 going to the HDSA, and the format is booster draft with teams of 3 players. And so this is a format that everyone loves. Team Sealed is always a banger at Worlds. So much fun. So each team will receive 6 boosters to build 3 teams of 300 points each, 3 rounds of Swiss, and cut to top 4. Boosters are random from various sets of Heroclix, so this is a historical battle. We've got some crazy stuff going on there. And there will also be food and drink specials available for those attending the event. Barbecue sliders and beers is what's noted. I mean, you can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
The event prizing. These prizes are subject to change without notice at WizKid's sole discretion. I don't think you need to worry about that too much. They have it posted here, and I think that is just dependent on if there's like some shipping errors, but don't worry about that. We've got first place getting a Wonder Woman 80 factory set. That's incredible. Super Rare Flash, all your Secret 6. Don't even need to go into that. You're familiar with the set if you've played Heroclix. First place trophy for each player, an ROC map for each player, which will probably be the Speed Racer map that Scott Porter's released this year. the 2023 HFF or HFH bystanders, so the Scott Crampton. You also get some con exclusive figures, which are the Batman and Catwoman, the Fantastic Thors, Hulk and She-Hulk, Ace the Bat Hound, 8 custom ROC card sleeves, and a pair of ROC dice, all for each player. Second place, you're getting trophies, you're getting the bystanders, and all of those con exclusives as well as the dice and card sleeves. Third place, trophies, bystanders, more con exclusives, dice, sleeves. Fourth place, very similar, con exclusives, pair of dice, no trophy. If you miss the cut, don't worry, folks. You still get something for coming out and playing. You will receive the Hulk and She-Hulk for each player, and the Ace the Bat Hound, which, I mean, this guy's been out for 7 years, I think. World's Finest era. He still goes for like 40 to 50 bucks.
Yeah.
Ace the Bat Hound, back in his day too, was also like, I played him. He was great. I had to sell him though because he was going for like $150.
Pretty fair.
Hulk and She-Hulk's also just, it's a really fun sculpt.
It's a great sculpt.
Like it's not like
gotta love those cover
all
sculpts.
over the place. You can't just like find it easily. So,
but we also have Friday.
Ooh, Friday.
And this is a great event.
This is probably the one I'm most excited for because I'm excited for the set that's going to happen. So it's Scott Porter versus the World. And this is the Avengers 60th Anniversary Mega pre-release here. So you'll be among the first people to ever play with Avengers 60th. This is the next Marvel set. We know 2 figures that are going to be Jessica Jones and Black Panther, and like that's it. We know very little at all about this set. So yeah, it's really cool. You basically get to play 2 boosters sealed with this. It does say somewhere in here that like if there are so many people, you might have to use 1 booster of Beyond Amazing, 1 booster of Avengers 60th. But still, it's nice to get a mega pre-release a month before this set comes out versus just like the week or 2 weeks that we're used to. So for this one,
oh sorry, I'll scroll for you.
There we go. It'll be $40 per player, and 100% of each entry goes to the HDSA, which is really
that's
awesome.
what we love to see.
That's really what it's all about.
That's why this is the one that I would definitely be interested in if I was going to be able to make it.
So everything goes to charity. 300 points sealed with Avengers 60th, and like here it says you may have to use a booster Beyond Amazing. If there's going to be mulligans, we're not going to get into that. So special rules: you're allowed 1 mulligan and can purchase 2 new boosters if they are still unsatisfied with the original boosters. Extra boosters are contingent on availability. Original boosters must be put up, and players must play their replacement boosters. Players may buy up to 5 uses of probability control per game. Each charity prob costs $1. All proceeds from charity prob purchases will go to Huntington's Disease Society of America. So that's another $5 each game that you can just give to Huntington, which is awesome.
Emily in the chat saying that Howard said if there was 80 or more people that show up for this event, then it will be 1 of each booster instead of 2 of
so
the
80 is a
60th.
pretty high number.
That's pretty good.
It is sealed.
And they're also considering mulligans in that.
Yeah. Mulligans. Yeah. So we'll have to see. But thank you, Emily. We appreciate that. Swiss play followed by top cut. Basic stuff. Here is the prizing. Man,
this is crazy.
This is really crazy. First place gets an Avengers 60th brick. A month before the set comes out, you get an entire brick of Avengers 60th. The primes, the chases that we don't even know what they are. That's wild. You'll also get the exclusive variant map, which I believe is the home reunion map of the Speed Racer, which has the blue and yellow, the black and yellow Racer X car.
The Racer X car there with Speed
instead
Racers.
of the
fun,
red and white, and then the just different red and white cars. Yeah. So that's the variant one, and then you'll also get the bystander for Scott Crampton, and then much like before, you'll get the same LEs really quick. That's Fantastic Thor, Batman, Surfing Shark, Punchline. These are a little different. Punchline convention exclusive, Dark Knights, Wonder Woman, Spider Hulk, Ashley Barton, Phoenix Sentinel, Paragraph. Okay, so these are all last year's ones with Batman, Surfing Shark thrown in there, which is really funny.
And then also 4 random
go
ones.
great with your mermaid Batman.
Yeah, it would be great if you
end up with that.
And then second place is going to get a brick of Batman Team Up, very solid. The variant map again, Scott Crampton's Bystander, and then all of the same convention exclusives as before. Third and fourth place will also get the variant map and the Scott Crampton Bystander with, again, all the same Connolly prizing, the dice, 3 random convention exclusives. 5th through 8th also get the exclusive map, also get the Bystander by Scott Crampton. And then there's a few different LEs here, like no Fantastic Thor set, a few other like smaller things.
Slightly lesser.
Slightly less. And then 9th through 16th is going to get the Scott Crampton Bystander with just the Rock sleeves, the Rock dice, and then 1 random convention exclusive, so no map on 9th through 16th. This is it's sealed. This is a very heavy forward prized sealed, especially when I think this is probably going to be the biggest event of the weekend because it has that Avengers 60th mega pre-release tie to it. But I'm really excited for that one. That one's really cool. I can't wait to. I'll be watching that one like a hawk because we don't know anything about this set at all.
There actually is one more thing to note about Friday.
Friday, yeah.
We do have the Oxit auction with Scott Porter, which is at 8 p.m. CST. Relax, eat, drink, and sit back and win some unbelievable items that will be on display. We have the same type items that we had last year. We will post these as soon as we have them all lined up. You may bid live or online, so once again, another way to participate if you aren't attending. If you are present, you get to take the item home, and if you are elsewhere in the world, we will mail it to you. We will also be introducing Hall of Fame inductees who will be receiving their Hall of Fame rings. More information can be found on the auction page. And then once again, we've got more Battle Royales. Those are 10 a.m. all day until close. The cost is $20, which $2 of those dollars go to the HDSA. In-person BR pricing, it'll be the typical BR fashion, and then they'll throw some stuff in the middle there. And then the pricing drops can include Random Con exclusives, 2023 Bystanders, Scott, Spirit of the Game, 3D objects, including Plastic Man, which
that's pretty cool.
We didn't see at Worlds, or X of Swords objects, which are both, both
that's
those things are
really
great.
solid.
Yeah.
And then online, it is noon until 9. Brad Burrows will be running those. The cost of entry there is half. It is only $10, and 100% of those donations will go towards HDSA, excuse me. The format, sealed, one booster, Battle Royale, blah, blah, blah.
You obviously don't get the figures.
Pricing's the same way. You don't get the figures, but, you do get the option of, Spirit of the Game, Scott Porter, or the Scott Crampton. So you can have your better Scott, your lesser Scott, or a non-Scott. Spirit of the Scott. And Saturday, if you want to hit that, Simeon.
Yeah, so Saturday is the Scott Porter Heroclix For Huntingtons Invitational. The Scott Porter Heroclix For Huntingtons Invitational is it's all about Silver Age, right? No, it's a
teams.
Teams. Yeah, it's the 3v3 team event. Highlander.
It's open to all.
And yeah, so it registration opens at 9, tournament begins at 10 a.m. It's $90 for all 3 players, and then 100% of this entry also goes to Huntingtons, so that's awesome. It's 300 point silver extreme Highlander,
which is crazy.
Yeah, obviously I think the biggest thing is the change to the rings, and then ID cards aren't legal at all.
What is extreme Highlander, Simeon?
You can only use one of, they go over the special rules, but all figures, equipment, maps, tarot cards, non-standard terrain markers, pretty much any game element that you're going to use is a limit to only 1 per force, so 1 per team. So you have 3 people, 3 different teams. You can't use I can't have a Dark Phoenix and you have a Dark Phoenix.
Right. You can't all have Destroyer Prime. Nice try.
Yeah, you will have the most unique spread of primes being used in this event. Things that would
Prime Spider-Man will stunt.
Yeah, things that would I don't know if there's any modern, but things that would have additional game elements that are copies are still allowed. So the cable from XDPS that could have the other 2.
It does say all figures, equipment, maps, tarot cards, and non-standard terrain markers are considered unique for this event.
Tarot cards all being unique is insane.
But things like that cable are still allowed. So,
sure.
Yeah.
And then if you guys need information on the Silver Age or Whiz Kids, the map list or the figures, there are links on the website. This is heroclixforhuntingtons.com. Go ahead and check that out. It is in the Saturday tab, and you can go ahead and click those to find those. Because sometimes
I would
it can be a little
imagine
tricky.
almost no one's going to play Mad Jim in this because you're taking up sideline equipment slots
so much equipment,
from your your friends now can't use things that
carrying with the cloak is going to be pretty young.
Yeah. It's going to be on 1 team.
All right.
But yeah, so the 2022 ROC Championship team gets a first round bye, which is huge. Lets you get, further into the Swiss rounding. And then the pricing for this. So first place gets design a bystander or map. 1 per team. So the team gets to design a bystander or map. They get the first shot at the choice. The prize is non-transferable and it's NDA required. The winner of Design a Bystander will supply game design only, which will be modified subject to WizKids' sole discretion. Obviously, it's going to be a legal game element for them, so will the map likely. Each player gets a trophy. They get a Disney Plus factory set for each player. That's 3 Scarlet Witches, 3 Sicarian Iron Mans, 6 Darkholds.
So there's 6 Darkholds.
There's a lot coming with that. But yeah, it's a full factory set times 3. They all get a 2023 Heroclix For Huntingtons exclusive variant map, and they all get a Scott Crampton bystander. And then each one also gets just a ton of convention exclusives, one of each Mandarin ring, 6 ROC card sleeves times 3. But yeah, just John Cena, Punchline, Dark Knights, Wonder Woman, Ashley Barton, Spider-Hulk, like all the same kind of stuff, but times 3.
And the full set of Mandarin rings. Guys, if you're looking to play Silver, we just did a video on this actually. Go check that out.
Yeah.
The Mandarin rings, anytime you're using a 10-point equipment, you have to compare that 10-point equipment to 2 Mandarin rings, because you can start the game equipped with both. So that is a fantastic prize, and every player who wins will get a full set. I imagine that these are going to be a little more expensive going forward. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I think it's a great prize, especially from like a silver event. So second place is going to get the other half of what first place didn't pick, either design a bystander or map. They get the Avengers Fantastic Four Empire Chase Prime set, which is still extremely good.
Little Venom Magneto for you.
Times 3.
Ultron Pym, a fan favorite over at Dial H. We love Ultron Pym.
Beast.
He's awesome.
Beast is great.
Captain Marvel Prime, underlooked.
2023 exclusive map variant for each player. Also the Scott Crampton bystander for each player. Basically the same exact convention exclusives and dice and everything. Times 3 for each player.
Similar,
Yeah. If there is a missing one, I can't see it. So third and fourth, they don't get the cool like full set or Chase Prime, but they do still get the Heroclix For Huntingtons exclusive map variant for each player, the bystanders, and then they once again get a times 3 on all of those convention exclusives, which 30 Mandarin rings is wild. That's a lot of rings to take home.
We're at 90 right now.
Yeah.
Across.
Yeah.
Oh, I spoke too soon. We are now at
5th through 8th.
8 times,
so
240 Mandarin rings.
Yeah.
Bam!
There's cases of Mandarin rings that showed up. So the 5th through 8th are also getting an exclusive variant map. They're also getting the Scott Crampton bystander. They're not getting as many convention exclusives, but they're still getting some really solid ones. Spider-Hulk, Ashley Barton, Dark Knights, Wonder Woman, Punchline, John Cena, the fireman, or the Plastic Man objects. The fire hydrant is one of them. A pair of ROC dice, all the Mandarin rings, the card sleeves. And then 9th through 16th, so I'm assuming this is just top cut. And
16 times 30.
Yeah.
480 Mandarin rings being given out at this event.
It's a lot
of hands.
If you're trying to get some drip, this is the event to do it, baby.
Yeah.
Get your rings on.
So they also get the Scott Crampton bystander. They only get the John Cena, and then it's Mandarin rings, pair of ROC dice, and the card sleeves. And then if you don't make cut, each player still gets a John Cena, which still probably comes close to paying for your entry. Like that's probably like I don't know if he's going for 30, but I imagine somewhere in there.
Not too bad though.
Battle Royals are the same situation as prior, where they're starting at 10 a.m. and then online. They put times, but honestly, Brad kind of just runs them all day, or like he's kind of a crazy man getting 0 sleep this weekend. So who knows?
Night owl.
He said before, I don't know if he's doing it this year, but he said before, if you have 4 people to pop off on a battle royal, he'll set it up at any time. So I don't know if that's his case this year.
He's ready to go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We also have Sunday, which is the Silver Age Singles World Championship. So Silver has been ramping up in interest. This is going to be one of the biggest Silver events, maybe outside of like Worlds. It is going to be interesting. I'm very excited for this. This will be the first one without ID cards. And a slew of things coming back. We also did a video covering this. Go check that out. And make sure you are prepared to fight against retaliation. You'll definitely be seeing that.
Scott's ready.
All right. Well, guys, we'll have to come back to this because...
No, we can...
Want to finish this up?
Finish up Sunday's prizing?
Yeah, let's finish it.
I'm not going to just cut it in the middle.
We'll finish up Sunday's prizing. We'll go real quick. So it's $30 entry, 300-point Silver Age constructed. The 2022 ROC Singles Champion, Scott Crampton, and 2022 Heroclix World Champion, Saul Elizondo, receive a first-round bye. That's awesome. We recognize and reward our Heroclix champions. These prizes are subject to change without notice. Blah, blah. First gets $1,500. Bang! Design a map, trophy, Spider-Man Beyond Amazing Factory Set. Woo! 2023 Heroclix For Huntingtons bystander by Scott Crampton. An ROC double-sided map from 2023. A slew of convention exclusives, including 4 random convention exclusives. Second place, $1,000, double-sided map, bystander. Ton more stuff. Very similar stuff, a lot of con exclusives. I'm sure you guys are catching a theme at this point. They're giving away so many con exclusives from various times. It's awesome. Third and fourth both get $500. They both get the same bystander. They both get a double-sided map. They both get a slew of con exclusives. 5th through 8th, $225. Bang. A ton more con exclusives. The double-sided map, The Bystander by Scott. 9th through 16th, $75. The Bystander, the double-sided map. A John Cena con exclusive. Some dice, some sleeves, and 2 random con exclusives. 17th through 32nd, enjoy your John Cena exclusive, a pair of ROC dice, 6 ROC card sleeves, and 1 random convention exclusive. If you missed cut, enjoy your John Cena, which you may already have, so now you have 1 to sell. $30 entry, big prizes on the line, guys. Cash prizing on the line, that is huge. And yeah, wow, this is going to be awesome. But if Scott is ready to go,
Yeah, do you want to go over Fellowship once we get him on?
we can go over Fellowship once we get him on. So let's go ahead and tab over to that. Oh. All right, we are awesome. So
We are off.
we are ready to go here. So we're going to go ahead and give Scott a call quick, guys. We are waiting. And there he is.
Hello.
Hello.
We got it. Hey there. How's it going, Scott?
It's going well. How you guys doing?
Doing
Doing
great.
great. Thanks for being on. All right.
Yeah,
so
man.
let's go ahead and switch this over. Boom. Oh, give us just a second, Scott. Sorry, we gotta reframe you on the live stream.
That's
It's
pretty funny though.
Yeah, we got you split right
You have
now.
half Scott.
Oh,
we've
man.
we've got half of
Is
you
it-
showing right now. So
Which side of
It's
my
your good
face is
side,
it?
don't
That's
worry.
the. Okay, good. I think I'm pretty symmetrical. Unlike the map I made this year's event. Yeah, pretty symmetrical.
All right, awesome. Okay, we are good to go. I don't know if our transition. There we
There
go.
we go. All right. Right on.
I'm
Ladies
not-
and gentlemen, give it up for Scott Porter.
Woo!
What's up, everybody?
So we just got done covering everything from Thursday to Sunday for Heroclix for Huntingtons, but now we're talking Fellowship, Scott. So we're just going to go through that quick. Heroclix is more than a competitive game, and we 100% agree with you over at Dial H. We are the casual players, and there is a ton of cool prizing on the line for the Fellowship. Calder, do you kind of want to get into that here?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's going to be really cool, once again, Fellowship prizing. So we have the Scott Porter versus the World Fellowship event prizing list. It's going to be a Batman team-up booster brick, the variant map, a ROC double-sided map, Dark Knights, Wonder Woman, a Phoenix Sentinel, Lady Phoenix, Hulk and She-Hulk Connolly, the Batman, Bat Knight, Doomsday, Ace the Bat Hound, Batman, Commissioner Gordon, Casey Power Woman, and Lockjaw.
Wow, that is so much. And I think this next prizing is easily one of the coolest of the event. I think it's one that people get the most excited about.
Yeah.
And that is the Design a Legacy card. You know, being a longtime player yourself, Scott, I'm sure you have some figures in the back of your brain that you would love to bring back in Modern. If you got to design this Legacy card, do you have one in mind, Scott?
Oh man. I think I'd want to. This is a team event this year, right? So a team is going to be designing this legacy card.
You're correct, yes.
So it's a really interesting thing of how do you just pick that one figure? Do you pick the duo figure? And it just depends on what sets they have coming up too. Old figures that I've loved that I'd love to see some shine. Oh man. The old Armor Wars Quicksilver, maybe.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Everybody equipped nanobots on that guy, and he was awesome, but maybe update him so that's kind of like worked in somehow, some form of Terrigen Mist regeneration or something. That might be kind of fun. I used to run a ton of X Factor, so my mind immediately goes to that old crew that I used to run and have a lot of success with. Actually, that was actually a viable team for a little while. So
I do remember the old Clobber in Time Nightcrawler getting nanobots as well. That was something I did myself. That was a ton of fun. He was, the chase before the chase. And yeah, hypersonic figures with nanobots. That's what it was all about. Nanobots was one of the best things back then. But outside
yeah, but
of
if
the
you remember
legacy-
that X Factor team, they had Veteran Havoc. That old
Yeah.
Veteran Havoc at 44. 44 was the magic number for a lot of the old Heroclix. Almost every 44-point Heroclix was a banger. It was like somehow in the formula, it would just get some extra. I mean, he had a natural 4 damage. He had an 8 range. I mean, high attack. That Vet Havoc was great. All the multiple men were great at each level. there was a lot going on. Polaris was really good back then too. So yeah, that whole X Factor squad was awesome. But yeah, the linchpin was very much that Quicksilver. So
heck yeah, I also remember running that Havoc back in the day. He was brutal. There weren't many 4 damage figures in his point range.
I loved
8 range too.
I've run those multiple men, like the Wolverine and the X-Men multiple man. There's 2 of them, but one could bring anyone with Madrox, multiple man, like any of those names. He could bring any of them. So I have like a ton of ones from like different sets, but especially like those old vets. Yeah, they're okay.
Excellent. On top of this, they will also get a Batman Team-Up Factory set. So that Green Lantern Batman, oh baby, a full set of rings and constructs. You can't go wrong there. The variant map, which is just so cool. ROC.
Now that's for each player, though. Each player on the team. Each player will get that. Now, just to make sure everybody understands, not each player will get a Batman Team-Up Factory set for themselves, but the team itself gets it. And I figured this is the one factory set that I would want to put into the team event, because there's enough people that I need the Indigo, boot, or I need, this chainsaw. I mean, there's still people that are just trying to gather all of those constructs and all the different ring colors. So just thought this might be the best way to do that. But yeah, each player gets the Racer X kind of reunion variant map this year, and I'll let you continue. Sorry, I just want to make sure everybody understood that.
Thank you for clarifying. So there is a slew of con exclusives that we've went over extensively for Thursday through Sunday that each player will receive there. Very cool. One of my favorites in there, the Lockjaw. Calder went over that. Yeah. And then if anybody else wants to cover this one, this is easily the coolest prize of the weekend, in my opinion.
The Switchblade?
This
is really cool.
Once again, returning to the Heroclix For Huntingtons event is the design of Switch Clicks. And so this is for the overall weekend fellowship. We've seen what they've done before. This is one of like the cooler ones. I hope we get more deep cuts so they got more dials going forward to keep swapping onto. Because I know Brad has one. They're just a lot of cool stuff that like Whiz Kids or whoever they have designing the 3D sculpts for these really goes out of their way to just make them really cool.
The latest one was insane. The one that you guys showed off last week was really cool.
He's got the shield and the hammer.
And I've seen Howard Brock's. Howard Brock won at the auction last year, and he did one with a fully power suited Tracy, Brock, and their cat, and it's pretty awesome when he shares that with the world. And I know Howard has it in hand. People are going to be pretty impressed. And the cool thing is that, Whiz Kids, when they pitched this to me as an idea 3 years ago, they said, look, Silver Age is coming. And there's a ton of Switch Clicks, bases that are going to become viable again. So for everybody that's getting this design of Switch Clicks, there's going to be plenty of times that they're going to be able to play this in any setting. And so I kind of knew Silver Age was coming back then, and it was kind of cool to know that people would have a slew of dials they'd be able to put themselves onto, and they have not missed, man. I don't know if you saw the first year, one of our friends from Scotland who won,
TJ, is that his name? TJ
yes,
Wheeler?
TJ Bozilla. And man, he had like a big like Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
The King of the North had like a Superman-esque kind of feel with the cape flowing out from behind. And when you are designing the figure, when you win design a Switch Clicks, you have a lot of say. Benjamin Umansky, TJ, all these guys, Howard, they have all had a ton of say in how that 3D sculpt is fully fleshed out, and they get to give notes and stuff. It's a really cool part of winning this prize is to get to be a part of the design process. I mean, so, Benjamin knew he wanted that hammer and that shield. He knew he wanted that diamond somewhere on there as his own personal logo. And they asked for likeness, photos and stuff like that. And they do a bang up job of making sure that these things are just top notch.
What would you say some of the criteria is for this one specifically? Because it's the overall weekend fellowship. What would you say like you're looking for? Like, I don't know if you're on the judge panel or how exactly you guys are doing that, but
I would hope you are.
Yeah.
I am. Yes. Last year's winner, somebody who hadn't really come to like a ton of big events, from what we all understood. And he was there just kind of having a great time and just filling in where he was needed. And, if table that wanted to play a battle royal, just looking for a guy, he was always like, yeah, I'll jump in. No problem. Hey, somebody needed a team member for the team event. And he was like, sure, man. Yeah, and that happens a lot at these conventions. A couple of people show up. Maybe you don't have a whole crew. Maybe you don't have a whole gaming clan that you're coming from, and you don't necessarily have, enough players to jump into some of these things with. And that was just his attitude all weekend long. And he was just optimism that was coming out of him, and kind of like the sense of like, this is so cool to be a part of this, as opposed to the I've come here to conquer everyone and
Right.
scorched earth on the map, and I've said this before. There's plenty of meta players that got a real shot at winning a lot of these big prizes. If you win, the prizing is great as well. But there's also this option to just come down and have a good time and make it almost more, player friendly a little bit. And so there's this interesting line that we're trying to walk, where we want it to be super accessible. We also want the best players in the world to be here. And we want everyone to feel like they came and got to play and walked away with something great. And Fellowship really, for the overall event weekend, is somebody who's just there partaking in one way or another. You don't have to be in every tournament. You don't have to play in every battle royal. You don't have to win a ton of stuff in the auction. It's really just somebody that's there that just gets it. This event is about community. It's about us all coming together and supporting each other and an awesome cause. When we started this event, Heroclix players, it had been almost a year since anybody had gotten together to actually play this game that we all love. And for me, that was really tough, man. This community, the connective tissue I've had with a bunch of players in this community for the better part of 2 decades now, have that all kind of just disappear. It was really tough. So that first virtual event was awesome, because there'd be 80 to 110 people just in chat rooms on Discord, just like they weren't even in a round. They weren't even playing. They were just in these chat rooms, just shooting the shit, talking to each other. And that kind of sense of community is what we're hoping for at this event, regardless of if you're winning or not. And so I would say weekend long Fellowship is really for the people that come out, just, exude that like sense of community, of fair play, of support, of optimism and positivity. And so that's really what we're looking for.
Right on. Love that.
Yeah. And just so you know, like, it's not just me. I mean, there's player feedback for the people that are there for the weekend. There's the judges that are in every facet. One guy's running in-person battle royals. One person is, in charge of like making sure the front desk is running and making sure, that we've got judges. And so everybody is really talking all weekend long. So, what I don't want to happen is have like a popularity contest thing happen either. And
Hard to avoid that, but
yeah, but I think we've done a great job of that the last couple of years.
I mean, yeah.
I think
What
the
you
people that
said,
have won.
finding
Go ahead.
somebody that kind of like came down by themselves and hadn't been to a lot of big events. I was telling Calder, like, that'd be really cool if like that's the person that like would win it. And I didn't realize that was like the story from last year, but that is really cool that was like one of his first bigger events, and he had such a good time that he was like rewarded for that. And just being like a kind of like a light in the Heroclix communities, hard to do sometimes, especially when you're getting like crushed in like competitive play. But
yeah, you catch one too many rune markers for
Yeah.
the Scarlet Witch, and ooh,
Yeah.
it could be
Yeah, I know and that's where we try to overcome that, because we do have major meta tournaments. We've got huge prizing that people are going to try to win. But when I look at the team event, I've said this the whole time. Look, if you come to win, you better win. If you come to have a good time, then you've got a shot at other stuff as well. So that's what I've always said, and that's how it goes for this. And I think we've done a pretty good job the first few years, and I think we're going to see a lot of new faces this year as well. And it's not to say that a veteran player can't win it either. I mean, it's really just going to be like the overall sense of the weekend, and who's really there for this cause and for this community.
Sure. It's awesome. Yeah, I love that that's all the criteria going into it. I love that there's multiple opinions, that it's a panel of people rather than, like you said, somebody picking favorites. So that is excellent to hear. But guess what?
Yeah.
They don't only get to make a figure. They get a Batman Factory team-up set. So boom, there's that. Enjoy your rings. Enjoy your constructs. We'll go through the whole list on this one. The Dark Knights, Wonder Woman, the Phoenix Sentinel, the Lady Phoenix, the Hulk and She-Hulk, the Ace, the Bat-Hound, Doomsday, Batman, Bat Knight, Batman Commissioner Gordon, KC Power Woman, and Lockjaw. So wow,
Okay.
like, you know, yeah, if you're playing to win, you better win. I love that line.
That is pretty good. Will that be on the next Scott Porter Heroclix figure, the third one we get? A trait. If you're playing to win, you better win.
You better win. There we go.
Hey man, you know, it's really interesting on the Scott Porter figures. They came to me with a completely different pitch. They were like, "Hey, do we want to do like, want to be like in a football uniform? We'll give you like some like, you know, pre-cyborg becoming cyborg like stats or something like that." Basically, you know, Victor Stone was a football player before he was in an accident, became cyborg, and they're like, do you want to do that like kind of thing? I said, no, I don't want this figure to be based off of any characters this year. But if we do something like this in the future, you might see something. You know, there's a scene from Friday Night Lights where Lila Garrity asked Jason Street, my character, before his injury, "Hey, is it true you can shoot lasers from your eyes and throw fireballs down the football field? Is it true you can do this?" And there's this really funny scene where she asked me if I have all these superpowers. So the idea did float across my mind of like, hey, you know, maybe we should steal a couple of quotes from Friday Night Lights and give him all the powers that he might have had before his injury. I think that's kind of a cool idea. But hey, man, I'm out there taking pitches. But I do think if you come to win, you better win. Is a great line.
Keep it in store for the next.
Yeah, once Scott Porter gets casted in She-Hulk season 2,
oh man,
and becomes Super Pro.
That was our fan casting that you become
Super Pro.
Super Pro in She-Hulk season 2.
Oh my God, I would love it, man.
I
would love it. I think
he said Combo Man. If Scott Porter was Combo Man,
Dude.
and he gets sued for having the Iron Man chest and the Captain America side and all that. That would also just be such a great episode for She-Hulk.
If we need anything, we need Combo Man. Oh my gosh. They gave away a really cool Combo Man leather jacket. If you bought like the comic and like mailed in a strip and like won the contest.
You said really cool and Combo Man in the same.
Yeah. Oh, come on. No, it was like a jacket with a patch on it. And if you mailed it in, you could win this jacket. And I've since tried to find one to repurchase, but it's like $600. Sorry, total side tangent. But yes, we'd love to have you as Combo Man, Scott.
I mean,
your pick.
Look, I'm up for it. I mean, a Super Pro, I think like a couple of years ago, somebody, because I always get asked, you know, hey, what unclicked character would you love to see? And I have said Super Pro on occasion because I did have that whole run from the 90s.
Speaking of the Scott Porter figures, though, Scott, how does it feel to be I think the community is pretty unanimous in this. How does it feel to be one of the most competitive HeroClix figures twice?
Man, this design process on these two figures was pretty mind-blowing because first of all, they both had a lot of incapacitate at first and they didn't have much else. I was like, if I trade in incapacitate, what can I get? And the answer is a lot. Still to this day, incapacitate, still very highly costed in the formula. I got to see, you know, how these figures are kind of made a little bit, which I've never, having played this game as long as I have, I still had never been involved in any kind of design process like these figures. And I don't think we meant for it to happen like this. I think we wanted to do two things. We wanted to give back to the community in two different ways. One that echoed the sentiment of the HeroClix For Huntingtons event weekend in, I guess it's 002. That I call it the variant. I call it the H for H variant. One with the black T-shirt with the logo on it.
It's like the old school Purple Ring Wolverines with the white and black shirt, if you remember those.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So Black Shirt Scott Porter is very much a tribute to this weekend. I knew the names of the powers and traits that I wanted. Family is everything is the slogan of HDSA, which is the Huntington's Disease Society of America. This is a quintessential family disease. Every kid of a parent with Huntington's has a 50-50 shot of inheriting the disease. And so I wanted family is everything on there. I wanted counting on the community on there because I feel like I have been, and I feel like they've stepped up and rung the bell every single time, man. and it's just been incredible. And they picked a flavor text for the other two, traits there, but what they came back with was pretty incredible. So, that was the point of that figure, was kind of be an homage for everyone that had been supporting this event. I mean, we've raised over $60,000 in the first 2 years that we've done this, and that means a lot. Fighting for Akira Comics knowledge and acting roles, those were two things that they wanted to involve, add to the figure. So we talked earlier about like the old X Factor teams, and a lot of times when you would team build back in the day, I know you guys have been around for a while, you didn't really start a build at 300. You started a build at 272, or however much your pit crew cost, right? Your Jean Grey, your Con Artist, your Destiny,
Invisible
all your
Woman.
cheap. Yep, exactly. Invisible Woman, whatever that was, whatever you needed. Then you started your build, right? Because your teams would be nothing without those kind of toolkit, powers that you needed. So I wanted this guy to kind of be like a one-man pit crew. And he does that. Perplex up front, telekinesis up front, the support all over the map. And then he ended up doing way more than that when they added all the theme teams choosing an opposing or a friendly team ability. I just couldn't believe it. And for me, I mean, what this figure is and the fact that it will be played as much as it is means that in all those matches, there's going to be discussion or awareness raised or something along those lines for Huntingtons in a way. I mean, it's basically on the sculpt. Huntingtons is on the sculpt. So if we can raise awareness that way, and people are going to play with this, and people are going to be reminded of what we do here every single year this weekend, I'm super stoked. I'm more excited about that than the piece being semi-broken, I guess. The other piece, the white,
though, because WizKids is donating all of the proceeds, other than like I think their cost to manufacture, is what you guys said, and so it definitely helps that it's the people that are getting it, like me, for like a shelf piece or like the occasional like random battle that'll like throw you in ×3. I have the bystander and both Scots,
of course.
But then also it's reaching out, like all the people that like playing really competitively have to look at these and consider and probably buy. You probably need at least one of them, if not both. And it's always good to have some utility in your tool belt. So I think that they hit it right in the sweet spot where it's going to be really fun casually, and it's going to be kind of potentially going to win worlds maybe, or help win worlds.
Man, I hope so.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
I mean, the idea was never to be that competitive with these pieces, but they knew that they wanted it to sell through. And I think I have to laud the generosity of WizKids here. And I know community at times, with good reason, takes issue with some things that WizKids does, not communicating clearly sometimes, never, quite knowing what event schedules or tournaments you're going to have over the summer, all that stuff notwithstanding. With these two figures, and you hit the nail on the head, they are donating every cent above production cost directly to HDSA, the Huntington's Disease Society of America. And not only are they doing that, but upon receipt of the figures, as soon as they land in the warehouse, WizKids is just cutting a check for the entire 1,000-figure order for both of these. And they're just cutting the check regardless of sell-through. And that means we're gonna triple this year what we've done, damn near triple what we've done in the past. And a lot of it has to do with WizKids stepping up to the plate and creating these two figures, man. So, I can't say enough good about everything that they've done as far as this event goes and these two figures. But the last thing I wanted to say real quick about the white shirt is, I wanted to give back to the community in a different way. I wanted to make Power Bomb actually true canon in Heroclix. I don't know if you guys, some players who have been around a long time know what Power Bomb is.
Yeah.
A lot of the newer players,
way too long.
Years.
yeah. But I figured, you know what? If we're gonna make a second figure, because at first it was just gonna be one, Then they came back to me and they're like, we want to make a second one. We want to put one out to the general gaming public. And we want to make sure that we also put one out that's geared around the H4H weekend. And so, this was kind of the second iteration. I was like, I want Powerbomb in the set, man. And the fact that it's knocked back and Pulse Wave doesn't target friendly characters is it's pretty wicked, So I'm just really excited about both these figures, and I hope they see a lot of play. And I didn't expect this guy. Like, the more and more I looked at him after we finalized the dial construction, I started to realize, like, this guy could be Blackheart's best friend. I mean, this guy could be pretty wicked on certain teams, Yeah. Multiple stop clicks and he's healing. Either of them are healing the big bad who's got all these stop clicks. There's a lot of ways that both of these variants can become pretty nasty pretty quickly. And I did not expect that. I hope it doesn't have a negative impact on the game. I don't think it will, but I think a lot of people like playing with it. And that's pretty cool.
You're actually having a very positive impact on the game. They definitely are relevant in the meta. And I think that your figures will single-handedly revive Theme. So many people are talking that Theme Team is dead. Yeah. And the power of the Scott Porters, I'm all for it. I was somebody who built Theme through and through for a decade. So having these guys is a great reassurance to do so. So I think they're a fantastic addition. I'm super excited to play them. And I think a ton of people, along with myself, who have only built Theme for years and years, are so looking forward to building with them. I think we're all kind of in that boat.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to keep Theme alive. If you've played in any tournaments I've been a part of, or if you've ever seen me play any type of constructed, Theme is always present. I'm the antithesis of Crampton, and the fact that he's like, down with Theme, long live tent poles or whatever he likes to play, but the non-theme stuff. And I'm definitely always about the theme, man. It's just more fun to me to get to role play this whole thing out on the map with characters that actually work with each other in the books. And that just comes from me being a comic book fan as long as I have. So I'm glad you guys are excited about that too.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah. Let's see. Here's a question that's a bit outside of Heroclix, Scott, but I gotta know. I saw that your former acapella group Voiceplay did a cover of the Halo theme, and I was curious if they reached out to you or if you reached out to them.
Yeah. So three of those guys in that group, I went to high school with. We started out as a barbershop quartet that evolved over time. Because actually we won our high school talent show as a barbershop quartet, and the student body almost rioted. And so the next year when we tried to enter the talent show again, they were like, no, you have to do something more contemporary. You can't be singing barbershop. So we added a fifth member, and I was actually the original beatboxer. That's how I got my start in the industry was beatboxing. I went to New York and did an off-Broadway show that was, all these different instruments, but only using the human voice. We opened up for Bobby McFerrin for a little while. We opened up for Michael Winslow from Police Academy. We opened up for NSYNC for a while. I mean, our group did a lot.
Man.
And those guys are infinitely talented. And I had told them over the years, and I always would tell them how envious I was of them. They're like, dude, you're on TV. Shut up. And I'm like, no. I am envious that you guys are still doing it and doing it in such a successful fashion. You guys get to go on the road. You get to perform. You get to do, that was the dream. And when you have a dream at 16, 17, 18 years old and 2 decades of hard work get you there, I mean, there's no feeling quite like that. And so I look at those guys in Voiceplay. I'm just so proud of them and envious of them at times. So it had been back and forth. We stayed in touch for a long time, and they had just hit their, 20-year anniversary of the group's existence, and they sent out these really, really cool special made coins to everybody that had been a part of the group or a part of forming the group. So like our chorus director got one from high school, and then each of the members that had come and gone all had these coins. And that's when the conversation started. And then unfortunately, one of their collaborators for a long time, one of my best friends in the world, passed away from COVID over the pandemic. And we knew we had to do something to honor him. And in the early days of the group, we would go on tour opening up for 98 Degrees or whoever, or go on these massive, 80 college tours where we're just in a van driving from city to city. We would take the Xbox with us everywhere. And in every new town, we'd look at whatever connection was on the back, because it's now it's like universal HDMI. Everybody's like, okay, yeah, we just need an HDMI cable anywhere you go. No, back then you would have some of those ATV like connectors in the back that you needed like 2 forks to like plug in your Xbox. Like it was like crazy adapters that you would need. And so every town we'd go to, we'd check the hotel.
Pin in a hanger.
Exactly. We'd go get the adapter, and then we would stay in and we would play Halo all night long. And it kept us out of trouble on the road. We were a quintet. We were 5-part, but only 4 players could play at once. So low man every game would have to give up their controller. And it was just a part of our ritual. It was competitive, but it kept us tight. And, those are my brothers. And we knew immediately when I came back that we were going to do something that was special to honor Rick. And that was kind of really meaningful to the rest of the group. So that's why we did the Halo theme. And actually, I don't know if you saw, but Marty O'Donnell, who composed all the music for Halo, did like a 25 long dissection of our version of Halo. And he loved it, dude. If you look up on YouTube, I think it's Charismatic Voice is this one woman who breaks down, all these acapella groups and different vocal, textures and voices. And she's her and Marty O'Donnell, did a full breakdown. So it's a pretty cool breakdown. You can find it on YouTube. It's Charismatic Voice and Marty O'Donnell. But he loved it, man. And that's
so awesome. So Halo
that story
runs deep in your roots then. And with that now known, I have to ask you as well, as a big Halo fan myself, which Halo is your favorite?
See, I get murdered. I get murdered for this answer. I love Halo Reach.
Let's go!
Yeah!
That's our favorite.
Heck yeah.
And
really?
I also get murdered for that opinion. Halo Reach is the best, dude. Noble 6? Let's go.
Oh my God. It's so good. And the reason that it's so good is it's a self-contained story. It takes you out of the shoes of Master Chief, he's wonderful. It's an incredible character, and I love Cortana 100%. But when you're in Reach, the danger feels so much more real. Cats, death by jackals in that open roofed volcano, like there's no moment in gaming like that, or like losing George. I mean, there's just Emil. There's just so much.
It's that impending doom, the urgency to act, and like that ultimate feeling that like you kind of know.
Like even though you're gonna lose. You think maybe the game will just let me save everyone. Like maybe there's a way.
And everyone has
so much earned emotion.
Outgoing too.
The real Suicide Squad.
I'm so happy. Yes, Halo Reach, the best.
To steer us back to Heroclix.
Yeah, sorry.
This is a question I've had for kind of ever since the unboxing started to really evolve over time. But what goes into, so from the beginning, it was Deadpool. And this unboxing lives in my head rent-free always, because I was, at the time, I was like, we finally get a Deadpool set. That's so awesome. And then being a huge Marvel Zombies fan, the moment we see Zombie Venom, I believe, you pull, my jaw drops to the floor, and I'm like, how could this set possibly get any better? So to me, there really isn't a Heroclix set isn't fully released until we see a Scott Porter unboxing before the set comes out. So what is your favorite way that unboxings have evolved over time, and how you've kind of kept not only that magic, but that hype alive for each set? Because not every set, no offense, has the zombie chases, which were so revolutionary at the time. So what is the process like, Scott?
So how the whole unboxing thing started was my fear that Heroclix would die again. And I was hell-bent on making sure that wouldn't happen. And I wasn't going to let that happen if I wasn't going down swinging with the ship. So I cornered Whiz Kids at a con. It was like, look, guys, let's work together, man. Like, you don't have, like, this game is ripe for hype machine stuff, man. And at the time, Kevin Smith was doing unboxings, and I was seeing all these people like in my orbit, you know, as far as like in Hollywood and actors and stuff who were like finally just being like, screw this, my nerd freak flag is going to fly. And I was like, I'm one of them. Let's go. So I called them up and those first kind of couple of years, I was just begging for studio space out here in Los Angeles and going where I could. And we were just trying a ton of stuff, man. The high point for me of the unboxings, and I wish we could get back to this format a little bit, was when I would do the DC sets at DC headquarters with Kevin Canary, who was the head of their licensing.
Yeah.
That stuff was awesome. But Marvel, DC, you know, Disney, whole thing, all those mergers, there's so much like bureaucracy that you have to like funnel any requests through now. It's almost impossible. And the same thing happened at DC, unfortunately, the AT&T takeover and Warner's and HBO Max. And so there's just so many people that you have to get approvals from now that, you know, it's kind of almost impossible. So the other high point for me has been partnering with Hyper RPG, because that is a team of guys who love the shit that we love, and they want to improve on every iteration. So these last couple of set unboxings where now we've got the turntable and everything. And I love how people out there are just like, he's Scott Porter, he should just be able to like have a studio and have all that. No, that stuff costs money, man. This stuff costs money. And I got 2 kids, man. Like, you know, so I just love that we keep on working together. WizKids, Hyper, myself, we try to make every single one better. I can tell you the low point for me was, you know, either, you know, Joker's Wild and those where I'm shooting them on my iPhone in my man cave, because, you know, there's been ebbs and flows, you know. Budget's been good with WizKids, budget's been bad with WizKids, and we're kind of in between, like trying to figure out how to make this thing work. And I felt like at that point, that particular set, reaction wasn't great. A lot of stuff got spoiled before I did the unboxing. People weren't reacting too positively. But what I take from that and what I've learned is, you know, not every set can be a hit, but this community can be a hit every time a set comes out just by being there for each other, being honest, you know, talking. And I do love the fact that our fan base really does have more of a direct line of communication with WizKids now. I've kind of become, I don't know, I don't work for them. I try to be as honest as possible with all my unboxings. The fact that there's sometimes, you know, I'm slamming certain parts of a set on the WizKids official channel is just like blows my mind sometimes. That's what they want. They want an honest fan reaction right off the bat. And I feel like their humility and their ability to be humble about all this stuff is really, really cool. And I think that the game is evolving, and hopefully the player base feels a little more heard. And the sets, I think, are just getting cooler and cooler now. So, you know, this whole process has been awesome, but that's how it started. And yeah, the high point was doing that really cool partner stuff with you know, people from Marvel and DC. But I think where we are now is a really excellent spot for the community. So I'm happy about that.
The latest unboxings have looked fantastic.
They've gotten to this insane quality recently with the turntable we saw. The Spider-Man brought this whole new level of quality that we hadn't seen before. It was just so updated. We're like, oh wow, this is incredible. But no, when you talk about the being really honest about a set, those are always my favorite. I think it was maybe during the Empire set where you pull like She-Hulk or something, and you're like, really? This is what she does? Like, I was like, thank you. You know, it's hilarious when you see something like that, because you're like, oh, he gets it. He doesn't just be like, yeah, WizKids made it. I love it. It's awesome. It's like, are you guys kidding me with what I just pulled? It's really funny, and it's just, I like the honesty there, and you feel like a member of community, not just like, hi, I'm the spokesperson type of deal. And it's really awesome to go ahead and see stuff like that.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I'm glad that connects, and you know, I got to give them credit, man. They've never once called me and been like, hey Scott, do you think you could chill out on
Can we reshoot
some of the, you know, they've never ever said that. They've never edited a video. They've never done that at all. They've always been on the side of, we want somebody who has played this game to be honest about what they're seeing. And on their side, I mean, they love all the, they love all the podcasts. They love everybody that's covering this game. So you guys are in that same boat of just like, they're listening, they're watching, they're trying. And what I will give them credit for is they are such a small team. So many of them wear so many hats,
Yeah.
at just to be a part of that and help this game live and survive and hopefully thrive is all I ever wanted with the unboxings. And hopefully we end up succeeding on that.
Yeah, I know when we all came together, like the first thing that we really said was like, hey, the most important thing always with anything we do is continuing to grow the game, continuing to build excitement, but also being honest, going back to that point of like, not every set can be amazing. Sometimes things suck, but yeah, like really keeping that core belief that like, we don't want this to die. I grew up playing this game. I want people to have similar experiences of all ages. I want it to live on forever.
Yeah.
And, we do our best to continue to promote that. And, a big thing with Heroclix for Huntingtons as well, promoting that you don't have to play this game a certain way. You can make your own rules. You can play theme. You can play out of the comics. You can play casually, competitively, however you like to do it. It's okay. There's not a right or wrong way. And if we can push that message across, I think that's just the overall most important thing of any game, really, is that look for enjoyment in it. And if you're not enjoying it, maybe find something new.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Our brand
that's been
fun, competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and I love that. I mean, I always said there's three kinds of HeroClix players. There's tournament players, there's kitchen table players, and then there's folks that just have pieces on their shelves, man. And I know players from each of those, little categories, and I know plenty of people who don't even really play the game much anymore, but they love the representation of their favorite characters in this form, and they love hanging on to the memories when they used to play or whatever. So they'll still buy pieces from the new set, just to put up on their desk at work or their shelf at home or in their man cave or whatever.
We have a lot of people like that over at our local venue, Dragon's Lair.
Oh, geez.
Yes.
We forgot to mention, this is the only Omaha-based HeroClix podcast.
Yeah.
Where all three hosts are in Omaha, Nebraska.
Coming to you live
How we forget that?
From right outside.
This is crazy. So the Dragon's Lair I went to when I was in Omaha was in Millard, off the back side of the movie theater. I don't know if there's multiple Dragon's Lairs now.
There's a weird amount of Dragon's Lairs, actually.
Quite the history of Dragon's Lairs in Omaha.
I won't get into like the whole history, but the original location you went to is no longer there, but the original owner and like store is still alive and very much like they have two stores now, but both stores have moved about 4 times in the last year.
Oh, man.
I didn't know a dragon could burn down their own lair. That was really...
One of them did burn down.
That was tough.
Oh, my God. Well, that's for me. I used to go there with my dad every week. We'd pick up some X-Men or X-Men Classic or X-Factor books. We'd pick up Rocky and Bullwinkle comics because my dad wanted to share his love of Rocky and Bullwinkle with me. And we pick up a lead figure or two, for D&D stuff, and we'd toss a couple of coins in the Dragon's Lair, stand-up arcade unit, and we'd play a little bit with Dirk. And then, I went and saw Batman 1989 at the theater on the other side of where that original Dragon's Lair was, and I just got so many great memories of spending time with my dad in that shop, and that was really like the beginning of my love for comics and all this stuff. So, special place in my heart, that particular store.
Before we get too removed from the discussion about unboxings, I did want to ask, we have 3 known sets that are coming out. Obviously, Avengers 60th is going to be previewed super early at HeroClix for Huntingtons event. But then there's DC Notorious and Wheels of Vengeance possibly coming out this year. Out of those 3, what are you most excited for? Are you excited for another DC set, or maybe Avengers 60th because it's the closest?
The return of vehicles and some crazy stuff.
So, under NDA with these guys a little bit, I wouldn't be surprised if we got another set. It seems like there's these HeroClix leap years where it's like you get used to the release schedule, and then all of a sudden, like there's like an extra set packed in. It's happened a couple of times. And sometimes player base can be like, okay, this is fatigue. Like we just had a set 2.5 months ago. What is going on right now? But they've got so much planned this year, guys. And I've got Avengers 60th in hand. I am recording the unboxing tomorrow for this set. The unboxing's going to start airing May 1st, and it will culminate on May 5th, which is Scott Porter versus the World, the super pre-release, where we're going to be playing with Avengers 60th. So the entire set won't be known, but some of it will on my unboxings that week. I scheduled it like this, and they came through. Whiz Kids got me this stuff super early. And, it's difficult to do in today's like shipping climate, but they did it, man. They pulled through. So we're going to have the unboxing series. Yeah. May 1st, man. What is that? Next Monday going to start. So everybody will be able to see what Avengers 60th is all about. But yeah, for me, getting a DC set so quickly on the heels of Batman having 2 in the same year.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn cool. And I'm also super excited as I've been getting ready, gearing up for Avengers 60th. Once I heard that Wheels of Vengeance was going to be a thing, I started going, okay, where are they going to live in Avengers 60th? And because Robbie Reyes, the all-rider, if we're doing a Wheels of Vengeance set, then maybe some of this Avengers Forever stuff's going to fall to Wheels of Vengeance, So it gets my mind spinning. I'm the type of guy that as soon as I hear like a set name, I'm like, okay, what are they putting in it? Who are we going to get? What storylines are we going to focus on? So that's what I've been doing for Avengers 60th, is trying to figure out what I'm actually going to encounter in this unboxing. Because when you're talking 60 years of what is now, the most well-known superhero team of all time, it surpassed Justice League, X-Men, all that stuff. Avengers is, the team. What are they going to pull from? I have no idea what I'm going to see in this thing, guys. So, I'm excited for all of it, man. I really am. And I know there's been people out there that they've been wanting an old Johnny Blaze again. They've been wanting some old school Ghost Rider goodness. And the fact that we're getting a set that is not X-Men, Fantastic Four, Avengers based is very cool.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for all of it, man.
It's super cool that it's like such a niche kind of like edge of Marvel, that it's like that mystical, like dark demon kind of realm of
kind
Marvel.
Kind of what we saw in Amazing Spider-Man with
the original Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah,
I love those.
Yeah,
and we're like some of the only people who are fans of Undead.
Yeah, I know. Bought so much Undead. So
hopefully that stuff comes back as well. Yeah. Let's see. Another question outside of Heroclix, Scott. We know that you're a bit of a sneakerhead, and you kind of grew up in the era where retro Jordans were so hot, the late 80s, early 90s, right? So I was curious, what was your favorite shoe or like silhouette of a shoe growing up? And then what's your favorite shoe today, if you have like particular favorites? I don't know how into it you are. I see that a lot of the comments are just like, I like cool shoes, but I thought I'd ask as a bit of a sneaker.
No, man, listen, I'm a big sneakerhead. Primarily came to love sneakers again. Like I loved them as a kid, but we didn't have any money when I was growing up. So I didn't have my first pair of Jordans until I got the Gym Red Air Jordan 12s. Nice. 1997, 96, 97. Flu Game 12s that year that, Jordan schooled Byron Russell and beat the Jazz. It was that year. So the Jordan 12s have always had like a special place in my heart because it's the first pair I could ever afford on my own money. I was working at Publix supermarkets, saved up. I'm from Nebraska originally, so I got the white and red, of course. So that's why I got the Gym Reds. And everybody called me Nebraska at Redbug Lake Park where I played basketball outside. They're like, Nebraska, or they called me Kerr. They're like, Kerr, just because I'm like the little white kid on the court. Yeah, man, I came back to sneakers once I really started acting because I don't have a ton of control over how I can look at any given time because somebody's cutting my hair, somebody's approving my, how much facial hair I can have or what my haircut needs to be. And, they tell you don't get tattoos because it's, it's just a pain in the ass to cover them up for whatever roles you're playing. So as a way to really kind of express myself, like sneakers became like the outlet, and I'm just a big believer, like, your energy starts from the ground up, man, where you're grounded, like your energy is all kind of starting there and like coming up, like, so that's why I'm really into sneakers. As far as my like favorite all time silhouette, man, it's really tough, because I love the 12s. They're a little heavy. I think probably threes just because of convenience and look. And I love the elephant print, but it's been a little bit overdone. And I love fours.
Very popular, like re-release shoe, the 3. I'd also say like the 4 too, but
I like the 4s, and the sneakers that are on the Scott Porter figures are kind of 4s-esque if you look at them.
I can see it, yeah.
Yeah, so they kind of gave a little nod. They said we can't put a swoosh, we can't do an exact Jordan, but we'll put something Jordan-esque out there. And so yeah, I think for me it's I love the 12s, just the nostalgia. I love 3s and 4s. One unpopular opinion is I don't love 11s. I don't.
Really?
People love 11s. They crease too easy. But if you're gonna tell me I can only wear one shoe for the rest of my life, it's probably gonna be super comfortable old school Air Max 1s. That's just it. I love just putting on a simple colorway Air Max 1s and just getting out there. So it's not just all Jordans with me. I love a bunch of different kinds of shoes, but yeah, that's it.
Air Max
yeah.
90 guy. They're super comfy. They go with anything. You can get them in any color, and yeah, it's usually like a solid colorway with a little bit of accent. So awesome.
Yeah, they sit, man. They sit.
11s, man, that's crazy. Like the world lost their mind when those dropped. I know we're not a shoe podcast.
Yeah,
but,
like
sorry. This is
look. I have the Win Night. I have the Win like 96s, which are all red. I have
I actually have those too. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is they just crease so easy, and there's not a lot of easy ways to iron that out where you can fix a lot of those creases in some other shoes. And I'm also a big believer in wearing your kicks. So my shit get scuffed up and creased, and it's just life, man. If I'm going to have something, if I'm going to have a comic book, I'm going to read it. If I'm going to have a toy, I'm going to take it out of its packaging. It's going to get played with, if any of that stuff, I just believe that, use it for what it was intended for first, not speculative flipping and all that stuff. So I don't do like the resale market. So I put the shoes on my feet as soon as I get them. I just wear them.
Awesome, man.
That's really respectable.
Thank you for the detail
so
there.
Sweet.
I was curious. I've seen the comments floating around, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I tried to do a little bit of research going into this, but even once you first started unboxings, I was like, oh, hey, wait a second. We go IMDb, Scott Porter. He was in like Speed Racer. I love that movie. Like growing up, I'm pretty young, but I really like Speed Racer. It was really awesome. I noticed me and my brother's favorite game to like play together. I was always player 2. And even when there was second player, like no second player games, I would watch the story with him as he played. Finding out you're Luke in The Walking Dead was one of the coolest things ever. That was one of my favorite games of all time. And then I love Marvel vs. Capcom. So when you were Winter Soldier, that was really cool. And I was like, that's hilarious. Have you ever played a game of like Flash, Winter Soldier, Heimdall, like Heroclix figures that are all like to represent maybe roles that you have played before, and be like, this is my theme. My theme is me this week.
I haven't yet.
That's a good idea, though.
It is a good idea. And when I was down at the Clicks Open Championship down in Orlando, Newmark actually gave me a Goldie Hawn designed Heimdall that's on the base. So it's the God of War Heimdall figure on a Heimdall base, and I feel like I could really key that in now. No, I did a HeroClix show. When I've been constantly spitballing ideas on how to grow the game and how to grow the audience of the game. So back on Geek and Sundry, I used to do a show called Group Hug. It was a Friday afternoon thing. Scott Rubin, who does a lot of unboxings as well over at figures.com, was our envoy. Hector Navarro, a couple other like hosts and voiceover actors like Erika Ishii would all play in these weekly fun themed games. And then we decided to do on Hyper RPG, basically an RPG style campaign where we all chose certain characters, and I chose some that I had voiced. Cyclops was on the team, but then some that are just characters I love, like Dr. Fate, but then we would have to voice them throughout the campaign. And so you've heard me mention Indomitable in the unboxings, and that was the closest I think I've ever come to running a team, because I did have Winter Soldier, I did have Cyclops,
Right.
and I did have Nightwing on that team. So that's the closest I've ever come. But I've got a pretty solid amount of characters now. I could rock Aquaman, Superboy, The Flash, Nightwing, Winter Soldier, Star-Lord, Cyclops. I mean, it's
Harry
a pretty
Osborn.
solid list. Harry Osborn, yeah, get a little Goblin action in there. So Heimdall, so there's enough in there. I could probably pull off a somewhat decent team, I guess.
And then one of my favorite projects that when I popped the DVD in, I didn't know you were going to be a part of, but it was this DC, I don't even know what to call it, kind of a documentary called Necessary Evil. And
Yes.
you appear in it all of a sudden. I'm like, is he the go-to Hollywood superhero knowledge guy? Because it had like writers and other things. I was like, oh, I did not expect at all to see Scott Porter in Necessary Evils. I'm a huge DC villains fan. I think they have some of the best villains ever in Lex Luthor, Joker, and all these characters. What was it like being in Necessary Evil as kind of a comic type rep, a guy who's very knowledgeable about it, a guy who's been in DC projects and whatnot?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that when I was at DC doing some of the Heroclix stuff, I got to hang out with Jeff Johns for a little bit, and him and I had crossed paths a couple of times prior. I actually have a couple of books signed by him when I waited in line for like an hour and a half at Midtown Comics in New York when I was doing a little off-Broadway show called Alter Boys, and have a couple of books signed by him. I think it was in the midst of his Titans run, which Tim Drake is my Robin. I've got no apologies at all for saying that. Like, I think Tim Drake is incredible. He's one of my favorite characters of all time. The way that he finds Batman is such a big deal. And I had this whole conversation with Johns about that a long time ago. So then we reconnected when I was, going to DC headquarters and stuff. I was working at Warner Brothers while I was doing Heart of Dixie. And we had a whole discussion about the Flash's Rogues Gallery and why they are so special. And I'm pretty sure that conversation got me into Necessary Evil. So I think that's how that happened. Like, just talking shop, just shooting the shit with, Jeff Johns, no big deal. Like, next thing you know, it's like, hey, you want to come over to because I was working on Heart of Dixie. So they like literally called me in the middle of the day, like, hey, do you want to come over to the thing and like, just, do this with us? I was like,
come to the literal bat cave.
Yeah.
basically, man,
Out.
You know what room I never got into that I was like dying to get an invitation into is DC had this vault, man, this air controlled, double sealed like vault with like every single issue that's ever, been written by them.
No
and
way.
it's all locked away, man. And it's this massive section of the old DC headquarters. They've since moved from that building, but and I would see sometimes I'd be over there and I'd see some writer come in and you'd see like them putting the code in and he'd go in and, they'd have to stay in there. And like, if they wanted to read a book or do some research, because a lot of those old issues, they're still not accessible. Even with all these awesome apps we have nowadays, there's still some things that you just can't read unless you have the physical issue. And so some of these writers, man, when they would do deep dive research stuff, they would head into this vault, man. And I'm like, can I get the invite? But it never happened. Still, got to do a couple of cool things with them. So I'm really appreciative of that.
That's like cooler than the Library of Congress. For like a nerd, you're like, whoa. Crazy.
Mission Impossible or like Ocean's 11 situation where we got to like steal the biometrics from some poor writer to like get into the vault.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Wow. That's a question.
Yeah, I do want to bring it back to Huntingtons for
Yes.
just a second. So this is kind of like a more abstract question, so like take as much time as you want. But looking forward into the future with this event, with the Heroclix for Huntingtons event, where would you like to see this go? Like, how would you like to? Obviously, like the most people that we can get, the more money that like it can raise. I think Heroclix players are really generous when it comes to this kind of stuff. They're some of like the best. For such a small community, we're some of like the best at raising money for different causes, and it's really awesome. But is there anything like any like plans or like goals that you have in mind? Like at some point you want it to reach this?
Yeah, I think my idea of like the perfect synergy of how this event works with HeroClix is reciprocal in nature. The community gives, and then somehow this event widens the community. That's what I would really love to see happen. I don't know how we accomplish that. We try to make this one of the more accessible events in the calendar year for HeroClix. It's not all about meta play. It's not all about nationals. Placing first. It's not all about that to us. And we hope that whether it's lapsed players, whether it's people who are interested but haven't gotten a chance to play, which is really why I've loved the miniatures games, and I didn't get a miniatures game to unbox with Avengers 60th, and I hope they're not going away. If they are, I hope we find another way to iterate on the idea of here's some basic figures for new players, and here's ways for veteran players to really invite new players into the game. So my goal would be that this event raises awareness for, Huntington's disease and the fight against it, but also widens the net of or widens the HeroClix community and brings more players into the fold. I don't know how that happens. I know WizKids is very interested in that kind of concept as well. And they've strengthened their partnership with us every single year, which has been awesome. I would be remiss if I didn't mention, though, that all of this really, I had the idea Heroes for Huntingtons for a long time, and I'd kicked it around and I had tried to find different ways. I had some comic book artist friends who I had approached to maybe do like a weekend long, submission drive, maybe raise some money that way. But then comic conventions went away, and we were going to try and do that maybe based in like a convention weekend or something. You could commission this many, and all the money would go to Huntington's research. And it didn't end up happening. And then Howard Brock called me out of the blue, and he said that him and his wife, Tracy, wanted to do something charitable, but didn't want to do it for a large cause. They didn't want to do it for cancer. They didn't want to do it for anything along those lines. They wanted to find a smaller cause that really needed help. And Howard was really the impetus for this whole thing happening. And the two of us together have like built this thing. I don't know what we can do. I know WizKids is wanting to do more and make it bigger and blow it out. And I think creating the Scott Porter character has really, or the figures has really shown what they want to do. I think they want to make this a year-long campaign and not just a weekend where we raise some money. I think they want this to be like an initiative that has legs throughout every year. But regardless of what happens in the future, I'm just so thankful to Howard and to Tracy and to that small team, BZ, Aaron, Kuz, all those guys, Brad, who runs all of our online stuff. I couldn't be more thankful to have a team that has accomplished what we've been able to accomplish so far. So I hope it grows. I hope it's reciprocal in nature. I hope we grow the game and raise awareness for this disease all at once. I mean, I think that's the dream. So.
Yeah, I know we can't make it this year because we just have like personal things that came up, and it's about a 13-hour drive or a plane ride, and so it just didn't work out this year. But we'd love to come down and do coverage, like not even really get a whole lot of play time, but do coverage like we did for Worlds last year, and just let everyone that doesn't get a chance to go or anyone that's on the fence about going get like a real good grasp of like what it looks like, what the atmosphere is. We've got some, I don't think they've been released, so I won't talk too much about the World's promos, but
those are unreleased. Those are in the DC vault, actually.
Yeah, they're behind a hermetically sealed door. But no, it was a great time at Worlds, and I think Huntington's is on the same, if not like maybe a little bit different, but like a little bit more important than Worlds for HeroClix. And I think WizKids, like you said, they've definitely seen that. They definitely like have put forth an effort of offering prizing that is literally offered nowhere else. Like even in other tabletop games, like don't have prizing like this. So it's crazy that like WizKids has gone out of their way to do that. And yeah, that's my hope for us specifically, is that next year we'll be able to make it. Obviously, I'll be doing battle royals as many days as I can online this year.
We'll be there. We'll be
Oh,
there
yeah,
online.
at the
There's no
very least,
question
yeah.
about that. We'll be live streaming from Omaha. Just as a reminder.
Hi guys, I appreciate that too, man, because we do want people who can't make it. We understand, man. Like life is life, brother. Like and all that stuff comes first, but that's why we want to keep this online element going, and that's where Brad's just a beast, and he does all this himself, and he doesn't ask for help. I wish that he would ask for a little more help on his end. This year, he was like, "Hey, I want to run a Silver Age tournament online. Let's do that as well as the battle royals." And I was like, "Whoa!" Like, what? I mean, maybe next year that's something that happens. Like, we add in one of those virtual, tournaments again. We just wanted to make sure that the pricing that we had this year couldn't support that. We want to make sure that the pricing, that the community that does come out and the community that shows up online, that everybody feels like they're getting more than they would anywhere else, and they feel like they're getting something for helping. Not just the feeling of supporting, but like they're actually walking away with something as well. It makes it all worthwhile to them. So, we'll see. But I appreciate you guys showing up online, man. I really do. And anybody out there who's listening, that's a huge, huge part of what makes this weekend a success. So I hope to see a bunch of y'all online. I'll be playing in a number. I'll drop in and out of online battle royals, and we'll be auctioning off a couple of games with me as well in the auction on Friday night, where me and you and two of your good friends or whatever can bid to win, and everybody walks away with pogs and cards, and we just have a good time, man.
Awesome.
Right on.
Well,
I want to talk a little bit about the map. I don't know where we're at for time.
yeah, we don't.
But designing maps has always been a really cool idea to me. We've seen people make custom ones online. The ROC did ones for a lot of the time. I was excited because they were a lot of MCU inspired maps. They had one from Logan. They had the End Game, or not any, but the Infinity War Let Them Into Wakanda one. And you've been able to design a couple of maps. I really like the latest Racer Motors one.
So
that's
cool.
That's really
So
cool.
cool.
The decision, although I am curious about, to make it not a 24 by 24 map, the new map size, but instead it's the full length map size for that one. What was the design process? What were you thinking about with making a lot of these maps, and what do you think about kind of the map size in general and whatnot?
I get more nervous with the map than I think any other element of our entire weekend, because the map really is me. It's me designing. I pick the theme. I pick the design layout. It's all sketched in pencil at the house. I send it over to Stevie Z. He does magic with it. And then once he's done his magic, we take it to the team at Whiz Kids. In the first 2 years, they were really big on symmetrical maps. They were really big on both sides feeling even for both players. And I think that's why, I tried to, with the Hyper RPG Studios map the first year, split it into thirds, because there was a lot of talk of them wanting to. This is the one time that Whiz Kids will really talk to me about what they think the future of their game is going to be. And they were telling me, we're going to be sidelining some powers, or they had already sidelined some powers, but when I was designing that map, it hadn't been announced yet. And they wanted it to feel more up close and personal. They wanted a lot of brawlers to have a new place in the meta, et cetera, et cetera. And so I designed that map to be 3 different arenas, basically. Outdoor at the top, which they don't like doing indoor-outdoor anymore. And then indoor with a bunch of terrain that was everywhere. And then there was the bottom third of the map was elevated down into a little, for lack of a better term, kill box or battle box, or whatever you want to call it. And then the second year, Panther Fieldhouse, that thing is so symmetrical.
Yeah.
They wanted it. And I wanted the top half of the map, the top third of the map, to be outside again, like the path to the stadium for Dillon football. And they wouldn't let me do the indoor-outdoor thing. And so we made some adjustments. I mean, there's still a little outdoor area, but it still only counts as indoor. Okay. But this year, with the announcement of the change in terrain and the change in map signs, so the terrain markers are a big deal. I just called him up and I was like, "Look, man, I want to make a really asymmetrical map, because we've got these terrain markers now, elevated, blocking, all this stuff that players can bring. They're going to be making their own map adjustments anyway. And before I could even finish saying it, they were like, that's exactly what we want. We want map roll to feel like it matters now. Like, in the past with Theme Team and all this stuff, they were trying to make it so it didn't feel bad to get stuck on a side of a map. Well, now you have a way to get out of that. If it feels bad that you're on one side of the map that your team doesn't necessarily play well on, you can bring terrain and try to make adjustments on that map. So the fact that they let me do this really asymmetric map with racer motors was really, really cool. And this was probably one of the quickest approval processes that we've had with map design. That being said, the choice to stay big was all me. Okay. I will say a couple of people on the Rock team were like, I think maybe we should design 24 by 24. There was talk about, can we make this map convertible? Can it be, can 12 squares be chopped off and you make a 24 by 24 at the end when it all changes? But I think we've got another 2 years with these big maps. And my sense of the community is that a lot of people are still going to be playing on big maps for a little while. And not until we're forced to play on, 2x2s are we going to necessarily all want to play on 2x2s all the time. Now, I could be wrong. I hope I'm not, because we're really proud of this map. But we had to make the call pretty early, and we were, we had to make the decision. And I think this map, I know that this map's going to be legal for 2 years. So at that point, I'm okay with it. If you get 2 years of play on this map and it's this cool. I also didn't think I could do anything racer themed in a 2x2. I think I needed the space. So yeah, that was what was behind the design process and some of the decisions that we made and I made. But yeah, these maps I get nervous about, man, because it's all on me. This is one thing where I'm designing and looking for approvals pretty much autonomously.
Yeah, and that's such a big, that's what we played the game on, right? Like, that's the map. And you can talk with so many different people, past winners, past losers of big events. And a lot of the times, they'll be like, it was the map messed me up, or like, this was the biggest thing, or I won map, so I knew I was going to beat his team, that all I had to do was win one roll, and that was initiative, and I was set. So maps historically have just been such a huge element. Making one just sounds, no offense, kind of stressful, and like it's a really big deal. So I got to say, I'm excited. I really want to see the sketches now. I don't know how much you fancy yourself an artist, but the map, I want the sketch variant Scott Porter map just blown up.
Oh my God! Maybe I'll put it in the auction. I'll sign it. Put it in the auction.
That would be really.
There you go.
That would be
sweet.
Yeah.
They're ugly. They're ugly as sin. They're all in pencil because I just need to. And so then I write in what colors I want. This floor needs to be bright orange. This wall needs to be wood paneled. All those design elements for art. To give Steve a guide. Now Steve's a fan of Speed Racer, and I feel like you can tell it when you look at the maps, especially the reunion variant, as I'm calling it. He put some really cool Easter eggs on that map for people that are fans of the movie. So it's really exciting to me that he was gung-ho about that. But this year, I specifically, and this is where I think a lot of people, until Heroclix For Huntingtons started 2 years ago, I think a lot of people had dismissed me as being just like kind of a face guy, not really a player of the game. And to be fair, I don't do constructed really much anymore at all. I just don't have the time to do it always. I probably get to play 4 times a year at this point. That being said, I have enough knowledge of the game. So when I was looking at these maps, I wanted there to be spaces on this map where the terrain you bring can make a huge difference. And there's 3 or 4 choke points, I think, on this map where you bringing terrain and how your team builds can deal with terrain, I think is going to be a big deal. And because of that, I think people who like to play hyper competitively might really like this map because, you can control tempo if you can control this map. And so I'm interested to see how all that goes. There's a reason I put the stairwells descending in the garage on the north part of the map toward each other and not out. So in order to get to that elevated, there's certain things that have to happen. And so I wanted to just play with that and see how people respond. I hope I hope some of the suspicions I had about how the game will be played with all this hindering and blocking all these terrain markers, I hope some of it rings true and people like the map. But yeah, it's, I think designing the map is where I really have to lean the most on my experience of playing the game, because, I've had those experiences too. I'm just like, this one map, man, this map is the death of me. I hate this map, So trying to design not to be like that, but to at least a map where it feels like it's affecting the game, in a way, and you can use that to your advantage, was really important to me this time around.
Awesome. I love hearing all that insight when it comes to things like that, especially design.
I really think you should put that sketch up for auction.
I
think that would
I guarantee
sell
people would
for
buy
big
it.
money. Like, people buy original comic panel sketches all the time. This is
That's like
Heroclix.
This is so ugly. It looks like a 6-year-old did it, man.
You got to display your
Just
skill.
tell them
but
your
it's-
kids helped you work it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I gave them the
I didn't draw
advice
that
and they
part.
drew it, and yeah.
The kids really wanted to draw the cars. It's
Yeah.
just
That's hilarious.
That's not my handwriting.
Will
Right.
we get a Panther Fieldhouse variant that is at UNL Stadium?
oh my gosh.
Oh, heck yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, no plans for right now.
They're way more litigious than most people.
Yeah, but what we ended up doing with that map is pretty cool. We're doing double-sided maps this year for anybody that missed out on Hyper RPG and Panther Fieldhouse in the first 2 years. You can get a double-sided neoprene map now. Gamer Matt started doing double-sided, which is really, really cool. So
A really good
one side will
too.
be, one side's Hyper RPG, one side's Panther Fieldhouse. I think it's a pretty cool way to play catch-up if you haven't been a part of the event before.
Well, since I brought it up, I do have to ask. It's the 50th anniversary. What are your feelings on the Herbie Husker redesign?
I mean, I'm still trying to get over the inclusion of Little Red into this whole equation.
I hated Little.
That guy's just
That
guy's just creepy. That was just creepy.
I hate him.
Yeah, so, and I don't, he's the same guy to me.
Yeah.
Herbie's
So
just the same guy to me, man.
grew
I still
up-
got a hat that says Bug Eaters. I still got a hat that says Herbie. It's all the same to me still,
Yeah, I grew up with the original Herbie, and I grew up in farmland USA, so like most of the guys I knew looked like him, like big dude overalls. They didn't necessarily have like a corn cob sticking out of their pocket, but like the one guy especially, he was like big, bright blonde hair and just like huge, like massive guy of a man. And
Yeah, man.
that's who I always associated with Herbie. And then when they changed him, like gave him like the black hair and stuff, I was like, no, like why?
Oh, he's got a button down. I mean, but doesn't he's got like a big like belt collar? Come on, man. We still got elements that of family I have and Nebraska. My Uncle Bub's out in the country, coaches 7-on-7. He's the school principal and coaches 7-on-7 out in West Nebraska. So, some guys in his neck of the woods look just like New Herbie. So I'm good with it either way.
It's a
man.
trade-off now, Simeon. You have to relinquish that.
No, I can't.
Times they are
I
changing.
refuse to relinquish my childhood. I will die on that hill.
We
that
are
is
still
my
playing
childhood.
Heroclix. So.
Yeah.
That is also true.
All right.
Scott, were you aware? This is just another thing about Worlds, that there is a Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy event at Worlds.
I did not know that actually.
Yeah.
So in reference to this is still one of our favorite Scott Porter
famous
sayings
Scottism,
ever. Where he's like, oh, it's got every keyword: Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy. No, wait, those are ones. They did this at Worlds, where you had to have a celebrity, a soldier, a scientist, and one other keyword all on your spy. Oh, duh,
Yeah, spy.
a spy on your team. And that was very much a really fun side event. That was really cool. And that was an event where, again, when it's this big weekend about either you play Battle Royals or you're playing 300 Modern or Teams or something crazy, an event that to me as a casual player was like, oh, this is just a building. Like my favorite way to play the game is just I built more teams than I've ever played in my entire life. Like I've spent so much time building.
That's awesome.
So much time playing. And this was so focused on team building. So what do you think about, number one, having an event kind of named after you or about a Scott Porterism, and then a focus on a side event that's more focused on team building and not so much on just winning or competitiveness?
I'm always looking for ways to include that on what we do. it's a tricky situation, tough line to walk for the Heroclix for Huntingtons thing, because we still have to have Rock, like the meta championships, take up a day or 2 days. So we're continually trying to figure out ways to iterate and get that stuff back in. The first year we did this, you had to have family members on your team. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes,
and we want to keep that. Yeah. So we want to keep that kind of going. I love that Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy exists. Those are my favorite events to play in. And that's why I like to play at local venues with envoys who really care about, just the fun of the game, as opposed to, the meta struggle and preparing everybody to go crush at Worlds or whatever. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those venues. They are awesome and a lifeblood of the game as well. But I have a tendency when I'm going to go play to want to go to the venues where, like Always Gaming up in Chatsworth, California. It's close to where I am. That's actually not all that close. It's about 40 minutes away. I drive 40 minutes to go play there because they have cool stuff like that. And I remember back at Wizard World in Philly, we would have these overnight events. They'd have Worlds, happening during the day, but the overnight events would be these fun little mini side tournaments. And that's the stuff that I really gravitate towards and I love. So I love that still exists and those things are happening, man. I'd love to play in one of those and include some of that stuff in our weekend.
Yeah. Awesome.
It was cool that at Worlds, they were doing those in tandem with bigger events. So if you weren't going to try for the Silver Age Championship, if you weren't going to try for like the Team Sealed or the Modern 300, there were like all these little side events that they had. But yeah, I mean, obviously it takes a lot more manpower and a lot more space and stuff like that. So like logistically, it does become quite a burden to try and add stuff that can happen all at the same time.
Yeah, I think we might be able to get there eventually. I think, it's just the scheduling, the logistics, like you said. But as we get better at just doing the weekend as a whole, I think finding those spaces are a possibility. But they've got more manpower than us, just by a little bit.
So with Worlds kind of in the discussion, convention exclusives, those are always a big ticket item. It's a big reason why people go to events. They love getting stuff early. So I'm sure people have asked you ad nauseum, if you could design a figure, what would it be? I've got a question along the same lines. If you got to design a variant of a character like that you think deserves a convention exclusive, who would it be? This year we're seeing like Mermaid Batman, the Rainbow Figure Superman,
Captain America,
the
Pegasus. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's
awesome. What I was gonna say next. Yeah. I swear. So is there a moment in comics with one of your favorite characters that has a silly variant or something that's not been represented or shown in HeroClix that you would want brought in? Like, is there a wacky moment that deserves representation?
So the first thing I'm going to say is Iceman's my favorite all-time character. He's had a ton of iterations in the game. He's Omega level mutant. And before Age of Apocalypse happens, Iceman goes full Omega. And then in the Ultimates comic book, Ultimates Iceman also does the same thing. He freezes half of the city of New York.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of like massive power output, board freezing, something crazy. Iceman. That would be awesome. That's just my favorite character. That would be his day in the sun.
Oh yeah.
There's another interesting thing that comes and goes in Marvel Comics, and I would love to see like the baby Avengers or baby X-Men
sure
get some play.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, like the Scotty Young kind of run of those characters, Captain America with Bucky Bear and all of these like kind of different things. But there's one offshoot that I love the most. And it's actually in video games. It's actually Traveler's Tales, the Lego games. With Winter Soldier, when he hallucinates, he sees everybody as animals. Oh. And there's a character that they've used in multiple games called President Bear. When he's hallucinating, President Bear is like the big villain. And so
I didn't know that.
That's the last thing that I would love is like this takeoff of hallucinations Bucky sees when he's losing it. And President Bear has become a villain, a boss fight. I mean, any type. He's been in like 3 different games now at this point, President Bear. So, and it's just a bear. It's a giant, brown bear. It's a grizzly bear with an Uncle Sam jacket and a top hat on, and it's this thing is awesome, man. So I think those 3 things. I think if we're looking at mega power level Iceman, pre-Age of Apocalypse, or maybe that Ultimates Iceman when he fully lets loose, or the babies. I love the idea of maybe even doing like a little team based situation with the babies. That would be really cool.
What would your thoughts be on if team bases were brought back?
Ooh,
that's actually like
those were insane.
I know it was mentioned a long time ago, but the Become a Sculpt prize, that would be like my #1 goal, is to pick a sculpt that fits on like one of my favorite team bases.
Can I have a little ice slide so I can fit in the X-Men blue team base?
Well, no,
I'd
actually be on like the Hellfire Stairs.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like those are like awesome for displaying switch clicks.
I mean, yeah, they've done a lot of like shared trait stuff over the past, couple of years, and different ways that cards will interact with each other and grant different powers and stuff. I think team bases at the time were just, you've got these huge point totals and these untouchable situations. I think, they definitely need to be shifted a little bit, but I wouldn't mind a peanut base or a 4x. We've had, I'm sorry, a 2x2. We had those big Exodus and figures not too long ago.
2x2 Madrox that has like literally a pile of like 30.
Exactly. Like, so if we do kind of a 2x2, I think that might be kind of fun. I'm not looking for giant team bases to come back and everything, but the idea of something like that being a con exclusive, it makes it so unique. People really want to seek that out and kind of have that really cool kind of variant feeling to it. So yeah, I'd say those are my suggestions.
Those were good answers.
Yeah.
Those were really fun.
I could go for some, like, they've done a lot of variant, like, characters based on variant artwork, like variant covers, not even like actual like storylines. And so I could absolutely see Scotty Young. I mean, there's obviously full stories of like the Marvel babies and stuff.
Yeah, and X-Men, yeah.
But I could definitely see, just like based on the alternate covers that I have, like plenty of flavor there.
I mean, they've done Teen Titans Go, so like, why not?
Exactly.
Why not X Babies at this point?
Halfway there. You just need to take the step from teen to baby.
Exactly.
There you go.
Further.
Going back to the Iceman design, a variant of Iceman, we did a little digging. We watched a few previous interviews of yours, Scott, and I did find out that when you play NBA 2K, you name your character Bobby Drake. Is that still true? And if so, how would you feel about a convention-exclusive Iceman who gets drafted to the Heat? Maybe he's got a Heat jersey on.
A Dale suit.
That is actually where I got drafted the last time I had Bobby Drake in an NBA game.
Wow.
They let you do blue hair. They let you do blue hair and blue eyebrows or white hair, and like, so I would do white hair, blue eyebrows, blue eyes, and just a stone cold shooter, man. That's always the statistics I give him.
RCE, some range combat expert.
It became a little. I started doing it less and less because the name that appears on the jersey is Drake, and I'm just like, Drake, the rapper, is just so everywhere that I'm just like, I don't want people to mistake the fact that it's Bobby Drake. I'm not like a huge Drake fan, but I love it, man. Look, I'm on record saying I want Super Pro and Heroclix, and I wouldn't mind. I play Marvel Snap a lot, and they have these sports variants for like Bucky Barnes and some of the other characters in Marvel Snap, and I'm like, yeah,
snappers ourselves.
We do love some Marvel Snap over at Dial H.
There you go, man. So why not? I'll take a little sports variant Heroclix of like Iceman putting up a shot, man. Why not?
Heck yeah.
That'd be hilarious. I would love that.
Okay, quick question about Marvel Snap then. What's your favorite card?
Oh, man. I'm up to 80 right now this season. I loved Hitmonkey coming out. Thought he was really a lot of fun, but it just made me run a Sandman deck. And then
Fair.
when I got past that, I just started running Ultra out again. I love Patriot. I love being able to use Cyclops and Shocker and all these drones and these bots.
Yeah.
The Patriot deck is by far my all-time favorite deck ever made. I've hit Infinite too many times with Patriot, and it's tough.
We both hit Infinite.
We both did, yeah.
Patriot, so
dropping
awesome.
the Age of Ultron, as I like to call it, on people, turn 6, feels so satisfying to see the drones swarm in.
Especially when they
I haven't
killmonger it, but they have priority, so it does nothing, and then you get all your drones. No better.
Yeah, they kill some rocks. Yeah, I'd thrown debris out earlier, and they kill some rocks, and then all the drones just take the rocks' place. That's a lot of fun. For me, I run a little bit of a different Patriot deck. It's not too different. I also run Doom and alongside Ultron, because there's some times where board space is getting tight, and if I can drop 2 9-power drones on the board, Doombots on the board, why not? And sometimes that big power swing works for me. I don't run Squirrel Girl and some of the other pieces. I do run Thing now and Zabu, so I get to drop 8 to 10 point Thing for 3 at certain points, which can swing locations too. So I've never been Infinite though, so that's the thing. I only started playing in January, so I've still not hit Infinite yet. It's tough, man. The climb is real, and I run Debris in my Patriot deck just because all I see is Galactus. Right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
he's the worst.
Yeah.
Infinite can really just boil down to you have your casual climb throughout the season. You hit a few ranks here and there, and then Infinite is just like, all right, I'm gonna sit down for a couple hours, and I'm just gonna click into that mindset. Sometimes when you're just casually playing, it's like, let's see what happens. I'm not going to retreat. But going for Infinite, you got to get a little sweaty. You gotta lock in.
Yeah, the closest.
Infinite. The climb to Infinite is when I lose my house in poker. So I just I'm not sure I'm ever going to get there.
Oh man,
I get the snap sweats when I get to 59, and I'm just like, I just need a few cubes to hit 60, and I'm just shaking, trying to make the right plays, and I'm like, please just let me win one more game.
Math starts getting fuzzy in your head. You're like, wait a minute, no, how do I lose? I don't.
Yeah.
What is this math? Can he?
Or you
can
play
he put
an
17 here?
Where Cosmo is. You're like, why did I do it? Why?
Oh yeah, Cosmo. My Silver Surfer deck has been pretty great this season too, and Cosmo in my Silver Surfer deck. I have destroyed a number of Galactus players just by having a timely Cosmo on 6. That's now just 2 power in your 3rd location. I win. See ya.
You mentioned
as long as you got Prio.
A snap card before. Is Havoc a big pick for you that isn't in the game to voice?
Man.
Or
yeah, I actually reached out to Second Dinner on Twitter. I was like, hey, this is a perfect opportunity for me to be able to voice Havoc. So, and then actually one of their design team reached out to me and they're like, hey, we should talk. I was like, yeah, let's
go. Let's make it happen.
Heck yeah, dude.
I mean, it would be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool, man. I mean, there's a number of characters that need voices in that game, and they are adding little bits of dialogue for characters over time. And I think Cyclops has one of the best animations in the game, but when they add High Evolutionary, when High Evolutionary comes to the game, Psych should probably get a little X-Men shout out there. So
something.
They did it for Thanos, recently. They gave him the voice line update where I think when you play the final stone, he says I am inevitable, which is
something like that. Yeah, I believe.
Pretty cool
stuff.
So I'm all for that.
Yeah, they're doing some cool stuff. Gentlemen, I gotta have dinner with the kids.
Absolutely,
I just wanted to I gotta bounce off, but I wanted to say how grateful I am for y'all in the community and for having me on today and for talking about this stuff and hyping up the event. I think we're going to do a lot of good this year. I think we're going to make 2 to 3 times as much money as we made in years past. And what we've been able to do with the money that we've already raised over the first couple of years has been so impactful for so many families out there dealing with Huntington's disease. So we don't get to this point without guys like you. And I just want to say thank you for having me on.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on, Scott. We super really appreciate it, especially letting us take all your time. But we'll let you go. Have a good time with your family. But seriously, thank you so much for everything you've done for the Heroclix community. I know we all really appreciate it. Everybody listening appreciates it.
Coming out of 2020, this event was big at the time, and it's only grown. It's only gotten better. And yeah, I can't wait till I actually get to go to Alabama. No, but seriously, getting to like the Heroclix for Huntingtons in person is a big goal of mine, despite where it's located. Not despite, I think
the venue's awesome, man. And there's something about having food and drink right there in the venue.
Oh, that's
really quick. What's your favorite menu item? Last question. The Robin Agul is really good. The Reuben Agul. I like the Phoenix sandwich. Do you have
a Phoenix?
Lucky Dice?
Yeah, it's the Phoenix. I had so many Phoenixes there.
Sandwich.
And also, though, I do have to say, they make a mean iced coffee, and that keeps me going all day. So yeah,
that's
in the morning,
coffee, the quickest way to get it down.
In the morning, they do have like Bigfoot donuts across the parking lot, which makes these little tiny donuts in an aluminum container, and they're hot, and you have to eat them with a fork. Oh my god, so good. But then once you get into the lunch dinner hour, it's the Phoenix for me. That's where I'm going.
Nice. I love to hear that. But all right, Scott, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
We'll let you go.
Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. Have a great night.
You
You too.
All right, guys.
That was awesome.
Give a small round of applause for
Small round of
Scott.
applause for Scott Porter.
It was so fun. That was a lot of fun.
That was seriously a great time.
Found out
That was
things
really
I never thought were even like things.
Comics to shoes to basketball to the DC Vault to Heroclix to
He wants Scotty Young covers in the Heroclix. Like I was like, yeah.
So now we know. We also technically know his favorite Marvel Snap cover or variant card. It has to be the Scotty Young variant.
Dude, the fact that he's like,
well, he did shout out the sports
every box.
ones,
It's like favorite Halo, Reach. Let's go. Favorite Marvel Snap deck. Oh, Patriot.
Yeah. Oh, that was so awesome.
Oh man, that was great.
My gosh.
Yeah.
But seriously,
we do want to say
Absolutely amazing.
Once again, keep an eye out. The Oxid auctions for Heroclix for Huntingtons are going to start on the Friday, I believe, and it'll be Friday starting at 8 p.m. It's
48 hours.
48-hour long. So it does start on Friday, at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Lot.
But it's going to be 48 hours long. So some figures, I know he said there's going to be tumblers, there's going to be coffee mugs, there's going to be the option to have like battle royales with him online in person. Last year, I don't know if he's doing it this year, but last year he gave away the polls that he had from whatever the newest set was, Disney Plus. Yeah, it was Disney Plus.
It was Disney Plus. He gave away his polls.
So
he also
Exoswords.
they also auctioned off his Exosword stuff.
Exosword stuff, even though he hadn't opened it yet. So Avengers 60th will probably be on the table. In addition to that, there's a lot of other cool items. I know I personally try and get an item every year. Last year, I bid up to the point where I had like $1,300 worth of items. Had I just like had the auction ended,
that is so scary.
It would have been like $1,300 worth of items.
Yikes!
But then my app crashed, and by the time I got back into it, I lost all but one. And
So we did have a question in the chat that I did want to address from Blake Rhyme that's here. He asked, how do I donate? So Blake, there is a ton of opportunity. You can participate in these auctions. Is there a direct donation option, guys?
There is probably one on the Huntington's website, but I don't see one on the Heroclix for Huntington's website for a direct donation link just yet.
I know in the Facebook post
Luke's
that
brother.
we just shared.
So I will just say, Blake, get in contact with Luke and myself, and we'll find a way. If you do want to donate, we will find a way for you too. That will, be cool.
So the easiest way to donate personally is we just had a shared post from Scott Porter on our Facebook page, and that link is in there. So if you go to our Facebook page, dial H for Heroclix at facebook.com.
And don't forget to pick
that
up.
That link is there.
Scott Porter.
Scott
Porter.
Yeah.
I forgot about these.
We didn't go over these, but they're.
You've seen them. You love them. But don't forget to pick them up. We've got the white shirt, the black shirt, the white shirt, the black shirt.
We kind of did go over them. Yeah,
a little bit.
We kind of talked about them, but we've talked about them, I think, 3 times at least at this point, from a video, a live stream, and a podcast. So
I don't want to talk about them right now.
Yeah,
We talked about them so much.
we're not going to go over them again, but obviously
Video podcast.
they're already up on
Another
certain
video.
websites. So now we're going to close out the podcast by once again reminding you that Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, except the Scott Porters. Those are only on the WizKid website. But check them out at CoolStuffInc.com and use code DIAL5 to get 5% off all your purchases.
And like always, happy trails.
Yeah.
But the live stream continues. That
But
was
now
just
the
for
live stream can keep
podcast.
going. That was purely for
Yeah.
Simeon's editing ease at
Yes.
whatever minute this may be in the live stream.
We
so-
are currently, let's see.
We got a handful of people.
2 hours and 9 minutes.
I have
in.
to say, that was easily one of the most fun podcast live streams we ever had. Scott Porter was such an amazing guest. I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous going into this. I was like, these guys wrote out questions. I didn't. I was lazy because I'm lazy.
I did my homework. I was watching
I didn't
interviews
get to
of
my
Scott
I
from
didn't
like
get to my most
2012.
important question
What
for
was
Scott.
that?
My
I
most
wanted to ask him
important
about
question for
Bionicle
Scott
lore, and I
was
wasn't
this one was for my sister, and I didn't get to
Oh
it.
my
but it was,
gosh, this one was.
did it make you feel bad when Dr. Zoe Hart played with George Tucker's heart? She also wanted, so my sister also wants you to know that she would never do that to you.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she was rooting for you the whole
Oh
time.
my gosh.
That's a Heart of Dixie reference.
Yeah.
And
Wow. That comes off as a little thirsty. No offense.
What? No.
No.
I
Come
mean,
on.
A little bit. A little
Little
like,
bit.
I wouldn't do that to you, Scott Porter. Marry me. You know, that's just saying.
I've gotten really invested in like those kind of like, I've never watched specifically romantic.
I wouldn't
TV
have done
series?
Pinkie Pie like that, cheese. I wouldn't have done that to her. That's exactly. Yeah.
But like no, like I've gotten like
Right.
heavily invested
Okay.
in like
Pinkie Pie
when you're
cheese.
watching Titans, like you really root for
You have to, you have to
Dawn and
understand.
Hawk,
You have to understand.
like Dove and Hawk. You really like root
Hawk
for
and
them.
Dove.
Dove and
His
Hawk.
name is Dawn.
Dove and Hawk.
Dove and Hawk.
I mean, if
The
you
superhero duo, Hawk and Dove.
or Dove and Hawk, which
Nobody
is literally
calls them.
yeah,
Dove
you could
and
say
Hawk.
Robin and Batman. It's the same thing.
Ugh. No, you can't. You're not allowed to.
Literally, one of them is interesting and the other one's Batman. But
Bucky
anyhow.
and Cap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't sound
No, you
right.
can't. Robin and Batman. Chat, weigh in.
anyhow,
Blake Grimes to Taylor Reach is the GOAT. Yes.
I was jokingly chanting to Ian, Halo Reach, Halo Reach. He knows I haven't played a single Halo
Dude,
game.
I thought I was gonna catch flack.
We
being
talked
like,
about it
yeah,
last
Halo
night.
Reach is my favorite.
Oh,
He's
you're
like,
right, we
I
did.
catch
Yeah.
flack. Like I said, almost exactly that. It's like I get a lot of flack for liking Halo Reach the most.
no. We talked about it last night and we're like, how cool would it be if he
I
said
think we
Halo
broke
Reach?
his eardrums a bit when we screamed.
Well,
He
we
went like
did.
this.
Oh, did
and I was
he?
like,
Oh.
uh-oh.
Max
But I
out the
mean,
volume.
I was like, oh, I grew up on Halo 2. That's what I was expecting the answer to be. But the fact that
That's
he's like,
'cause-
oh, Halo
so-
Reach is like the most compelling storyline.
So
I'm like,
Bill is complaining
yes, it
about the
was.
multiplayer because he's a basic Call of Duty fan
Dude,
that
the
just plays
multiplayer
Halo
was
for
fire.
multiplayer. If all you do is play games for multiplayer, you are kind of a loser. Unless it's Call of Duty, in which case those
Multiplayer
stories
is
don't matter.
not weak at all. Halo 4 is where multiplayer fell off. I
It's-
will say Halo 3 has the best multiplayer, but Halo Reach is still my favorite.
Two, the Needlers didn't need a nerf.
Dual Needlers.
Dual Needlers didn't need a nerf.
They needed a nerf very badly.
Yeah,
I've
but
never played a
Halo
Halo
3
game.
is when Forge mode really popped off. You had all the fun game modes. And the BR just became like a true I mean, it was already like staple in Halo 2, but in Halo 3, it's just so much more iconic. We're not going to talk that much about Halo.
No,
so-
we're not. We can't. Megan, don't be a hater. My hair is blonde. Please don't.
Yeah, he's
Don't be a
cosplaying
hater.
as an Evil Dead Rise character.
No, don't. Please stop.
Could
The worst character from Evil
Could he
Dead
get
Rise.
Halo clicks back as an alien?
I don't think anyone
You know
has
what?
that
If you
power.
if you don't own all of Halo Clicks Indie, then don't tell me you want it back because you're clearly a fake fan.
No,
There's a lot
I
of
wouldn't
figures
go
in
that
Halo
far.
Indie.
I would go that
I wouldn't
far.
go that far, but
I would go that
I
far.
would say that
Are you talking Halo
clicks?
clicks action clicks, or are you talking?
Well, that's
about,
what Halo clicks is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But like some people refer to the
Oh,
Hero
sure.
Clicks
Action
set
clicks,
as
yeah.
Well,
as
to be
Halo
honest,
Clicks.
I remember like playing Hero Clicks in that era when Halo Clicks, like the Halo Action Clicks, came out, and it died so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the product sitting on the shelves there, like it sold out immediately, and then they bought more, and that sat there for years and years and years.
One of the first sealeds I ever played
And
in
Halo
was
Hero
a
Clicks was
Halo
not
Hero
even any
Clicks.
better.
If it would have been modern, do you think it would have been playable? Because grenades were like borderline broken, or like what do you think?
I
Halo
mean,
Ro-
Was everything just too overcosted for Halo?
like it was kind of that way for every indie set. Like, you know, we saw it in Street Fighter, Gears of War,
The problem,
Lone
the problem was
Ranger.
you saw like
the dial design, the
weird-
point costing was massively different.
you saw weird like power combos. Like you saw like leap climb. Like while it made sense for the character, it didn't make sense in the sense of Heroclix as like a game where like these figures are costed the same. So you would see
Yeah.
stuff like a leap climb energy explosion. It's like, well, I'm never playing that because I
No.
don't want leap climb energy explosion top dial.
But the
the
generics in that set were really, really highly
The
costed.
Ghost
That was kind of the
with
theme.
like it was like a 9-speed hypersonic and like 6
9
range
attack.
or something. Yeah, it was
It's not
probably
very
one of the
good.
better things in the set though. Like it was
still not
pretty
great.
fun, but no, like I think if you're collecting those, you're mostly collecting them for the sculpts. At least that's what I did. Same with Pacific Rim. No one
Those
played
were pretty
that.
strong, though, actually.
No one played them competitively though. They were two point costed.
And
They
people
were
at my venue did.
really
Yeah.
in 300 modern.
The one that came back to life. Oh, I think it was outside of 300. I
That
think
one's
thing was-
400. Yeah.
That thing was nasty.
Oh yeah.
It was brutal.
He was nasty
So, yeah.
because he was like the original like
Competitively, you're right.
he was like the original
Sorry.
like shredder where you got through his dial and then he was just like yoink
He was like
all the way
fingers,
back. Yeah.
fingers.
Yeah. So but also the kaiju team ability was old school mystics, which
Yeah.
even still to
Oh,
this
man.
day
And it was copyable.
Arachnos.
copyable
It was so
and
wild.
unavoidable. So even to this day, if you play a Golden Age game and you put one kaiju on your team, copyable and unavoidable mystics. So
Man. Everything with Scott, though, like coming into this, guys, we really didn't know how much time we were going to get with him. We were thinking maybe like 30 minutes.
I was
The
assuming
fact that we
30,
talked
yeah.
for almost
The
an
fact
hour
that
and
he
a half
stayed on as long
is
as he did.
insane.
And I
Yeah.
mean, he
is-
looked like he was having a good time. I hope that wasn't his incredible acting skills. I hope
We
that was him.
are the third channel that he's been with today, so I feel like hopefully we got some new questions, some
I hope so. I
interesting
I feel like there's
stuff.
no way we didn't.
I hope we challenged him a little bit and kept him awake a little bit more.
I know none of us asked if he would rather wrestle Mr. Chomps or do something else, and obviously that is clearly the most impressive question you
yeah.
can ask anyone ever. So we did a terrible job interviewing in that way.
We
I
also-
think every other way
yeah.
we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, so
that was I'm not gonna lie.
anyhow.
Oh man, that was bad. That was really bad. Acting 100.
If you want to
Okay,
check
Blake,
out,
screw
if you want to check Scott out on 2 other podcasts besides this one, if this was
The best
not enough
podcast.
for some reason, then yes, he was previously on Critical Clicks and Clicked Off the same day as this one. So I'm just super glad
He
he
ran
was
the gauntlet.
willing to triple down on Heroclix content creators because I know we're not the easiest people to talk to sometimes. So
I think we are.
I felt like we did a pretty
I
good
think
job
we-
of keeping
I-
it going.
I don't think you talk to enough HeroClix content creators, Calder. If you think we're
I think
easy
let's
to
be
talk
done
to.
throwing
Do you not think we're
shade.
easy to talk to?
I think we did a great job. Let's get past this topic.
Who am I missing?
Okay.
Let's
I'm
put-
trying
let's
to
put
make
this
a
one
joke
down.
about how HeroClix content creators can be
Ah.
awkward, but obviously other people don't understand humor. So, anyhow, if you want to check Scott out, he's going to be
I
on those
just got
other
caught in
2
the shade.
podcasts. Yeah, you guys.
That was
you
really
know,
bad. Wow.
You
Thanks.
guys- you guys are both.
You know how I
shit.
just referenced HeroClix content creators being hard to talk to?
But then you said we were hard to talk to.
As a group, HeroClix content creators, we're not the only one.
I thought you 100% meant us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also got that vibe.
Yeah,
Simeon.
100%.
So
I think
Yeah,
we were in
so,
the same
so
boat.
you
Take
maybe
some, like,
were who I was talking
joke
to.
telling classes or
Yeah.
something. His timing
I
is
think it
comedic
seems-
timing is
Hey,
non-existent.
joke telling 101. Check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Seems like you were who I was talking to. Turns out.
Okay, that
Anyhow.
was awkward.
Anyway.
Glad the podcast is over.
So our drama aside,
No, just kidding. We're gonna get even deeper into it.
yeah.
I think one of the coolest
fill the
things.
dishwasher? No, just kidding. But
Look, no. If you're gonna, I'm kidding. One of the coolest things that he talked about, though, I think, was how he's like, "Yeah, I was just shooting the shit with Jeff Johns."
Yeah,
and that
just
landed.
to be
casually.
able to casually say
Casually,
that.
just
I was
Also,
like,
who's
man.
Jeff Johns?
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I know, like, Jeff Johns is, like, the name of, like, Martian Manhunter or something, right?
That's John
No,
Jones.
John
oh,
Jones.
that's what it was. That was
He was not talking to Martian Manhunter, no.
I wanted to make that joke because his name is so similar to it.
It is really similar.
No,
is it not?
Jeff Johns did a lot of JLA. He did Batman. He did. I believe he also did Martian Manhunter.
Some books
at one
I didn't
point.
read, I guess. That's cool.
But no, he had a lot of cool runs in like the early 2000s, 2010s. I believe he's also like what's the name of the writer for Watchmen?
Alan Moore.
Alan Moore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff Johns, I think, is one of the people that Alan Moore like based Watchmen around. He's like, I don't want it to be this. Alan Moore, I believe,
want it to be like Jeff Johns.
I believe he is not a very big fan of
That's
him.
funny.
So
Did he
I
do
can't remember all
like
the
the
details.
what's it called, the original crew that the Watchmen's based off of? You know, Question and the rest of them, that the Watchmen are like gimmicks.
Jeff Johns wrote Flash Rebirth and Green Lantern Rebirth. Oh, I didn't know
But that's
that.
a Rebirth.
Yeah, Rebirth's.
Green Lantern Rebirth was also bad, so maybe I don't like Jeff Johns because all he did was like, hey, Simon Baz, hey, Jessica Cruz, forget about the rest of them. And
I
was
mean,
like,
New
"Oh."
52 was worse though.
New 52 was a
But New 52
tough
ended with
time.
Forever Evil, and Forever Evil was so freaking good.
New 52 had to end.
That's not a biggest.
It had
enough
to end with
consolation.
It's
Forever
not a
Evil
big enough
'cause it had to
consolation,
end.
but like, dude, Forever Evil is one of my all-time favorite storylines they've ever done.
Jeff Johns was president and chief creative officer for DC. I did not know that.
Yeah, he was. Well, that's at the time he was
Oh,
chief
Also,
creative
what did I
officer.
miss, Luke?
You didn't miss anything important.
Magic.
Nothing important. Nothing happened the last 2 hours. You
I
didn't
thought
miss-
Calder was joking when he didn't know Jeff Johns.
I didn't realize.
I didn't know he was the president.
I don't know anything about comics.
I knew he was
read
the
'em.
creative. I didn't know he was the chief creative, whatever. But I knew that he was in the creative, like, because he
wrote
essentially,
some of the biggest storylines.
yeah. Once you like hit a certain
In
tier
jail.
But
of
it's,
like,
it's DC and it's the Justice League. So I
DC's
don't care
awesome.
about Justice.
like if Marvel was smart,
But even,
Hickman would be like
So
one of
you
the
lied to
chief
Scott
creators.
Porter? You
No.
said DC had compelling villains.
They do have compelling villains, but I don't know who writes them, and I don't really care if I'm being honest. Like I just found out the other day, I was telling someone about my favorite Captain America run, and he was like, "Yeah, the Mark Gruenwald run," and I was like, "Who's Mark Gruenwald?" And he's like, "That's the guy that wrote your favorite like stretch of 80 comics for Captain America." You know what I mean? Like
That's why I follow writers instead of characters.
I don't know. And the writers can screw up a character really badly. Like whoever wrote the last Cap run was garbage, but like,
Here's something
Yeah.
funny. My friend Chase.
oh jeez.
My friend Chase just texted me. Found out this show my girlfriend watches, Ginny and Georgia. Scott Porter is one of the main characters in.
yeah, he's the mayor.
No way.
He's the mayor.
Thanks for letting me know, Chase. If you're watching
That's
this,
hilarious.
yeah.
But yeah, I've never paid attention to like artists or writers, which is maybe bad, but I've always just like, it's a Guy Gardner book. Oh, it's a Captain America book. Oh, it's a Lex Luthor book.
How many books do you read outside of Marvel and DC?
Ooh.
Not many.
Let me
So,
think.
I mean, that
Archie.
tracks
I
them,
read
dude.
Archie, Sonic, and Mega Man. So Archie
The
comics.
only
Hellboy?
reason I follow artists and
Invincible.
I
writers.
haven't
Yeah,
read
but like
Invincible yet.
I read like
do-
30 issues of Invincible, and then I stopped.
Oh, Dynamite! All the Army of Darkness and Evil Dead books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason I follow artists and writers specifically is because they'll do a banger run in Marvel or DC sometimes, but then like their indie stuff is also just super
See,
good because
that's-
it's their own story, their own control. They get to like make all the decisions and characters, where in Marvel and DC they're so hampered that it's like at the end of everything nothing mattered.
Well,
Like that's what it
that's another thing where it's like I would like to follow someone that does that, but then it's like let's take Tom King for example. I loved his Visions run.
Okay.
Doesn't mean I want to go read his Mr. Miracle run. I don't care about Mr. Miracle.
He's
you know?
a really cool character.
But you might.
I also love his costume.
But
I
I
mean,
don't care. I don't
I
care
didn't
about the
ca-
guy
I
that
didn't
wants
care
to
about
get
the Fantastic
dominated
Four.
by
Tying
the
in with
6'4".
Darkseid though, and like his whole like.
Oh, I
powers?
still read it, you know, and Mr.
Awesome.
Miracle was just like on the verge of suicide that entire time. He just
Yeah.
wanted to end it all, bro. Like that was a depressing run.
I mean, you like Mr. Immortal.
I didn't care about the
but
Fantastic
he's
Four
more
until
funny.
I read
He's more funny
Jonathan
depression.
Hickman's
He's
run.
He's a
Ha-ha.
Pagliacci.
He's
but-
like haha depression, not like depression, you know? Like
So now we're singling out which version of depression is going.
what's the
Yeah.
best? Can we rank depression, please? Get our depression tier list going on here.
But yeah, anyhow, Jonathan
Anyways.
Hickman's Fantastic Four run's like the only one I care about. I don't care about the
Oh, for sure.
characters, but like he writes them so well that it makes them very interesting and actually
that's the
worth
biggest
caring
part
about.
Of comics is like
A good
you know,
writer.
the
Yeah,
big- well,
I
no,
agree.
like, not-
Following writers because they're good.
Okay,
and
stop,
they make good
stop.
stories.
not
Yeah.
necessarily how
I don't
like, the
necessarily- why would
story
I
is
wanna-
written. Not the overarching story, but like when an individual character is interesting. That is like the heart of comics.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
You can have a great
Sure.
character and a bad story, and that like can make
I
up
want
for
that
it.
character to be good.
If it's a bad story, it's just a bad story, though. There's a lot of bad comic stories out there, and Marvel and DC have pumped out way too many. Like,
I mean, money's money.
Well,
As
they have to keep cranking out.
as like a
whatever.
person that like at one point was collecting every single Wolverine run that had ever been made, like from
Bro, the death
from
of
when he was
Wolverine. Ugh.
yeah, from when he was like originally announced up until Death of Wolverine, I was like 95%
Jeez.
floppy copies of
I
everything.
I found out that.
And then Death of Wolverine just made me stop because that storyline was written so poorly,
Dude.
and it was such a big event for this character. And I was just like, the fact that they gave this guy a license to write this, no.
I think you should pick it back up because that's how I was with like Captain America and then Secret Empire happened.
Pick it back up. He died, and that was it.
No, I meant,
No,
is there
like
not
the
an ongoing
collecting.
Wolverine right now?
Oh, there is now.
I'm just saying, like, start picking up the new one. You might as
Oh,
well because
yeah.
it's
I mean,
different, right?
so I read them now, but at the time I was picking up floppies of every so I had
like X-Force,
first
X-Men,
yeah
whatever
like
he was
first
in.
appearance and then like everything that like his like
have
first
Hulk,
solo
80,
run.
whatever?
I did.
That's cool.
Yeah, I did at the time. It was like
Do you own both versions of that Hulk one? Because the hotly debated which
No.
one's his real
I
first
had the
appearance and whatnot.
3.4 grading, so it was
Nice.
like $20.
So it was missing its coupon or whatever
Yeah.
inside that everybody like cut
it,
out for some
no,
reason.
it was 3.4, so it was literally missing the entire like spine of it.
Ugh.
It was just like a collection of pages. I didn't open it obviously, but no, I stopped picking up singles of that, and now I follow it on like Marvel Unlimited and trade paperbacks.
That's the way to do it.
But like that literally caused me to stop picking
Stop
up Marvel
'cause it was so
singles
bad.
because I was like, you guys amped this whole like storyline up so bad. Like it was
They
a
had,
6 month like build up.
They had cardboard inserts
And it was
that they
so
sent to
bad.
like not inserts, sorry, like cutouts, standees that they sent to shops. Like there was one in my old venue, the Rainbow Sports Cards, of Wolverine, and I can't remember. I think he was like battle damaged in some way. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Well, like the whole
But I remember
point was his
talking
healing
about, like-
factor was gone, so he had to wear like armor and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean
Those are always the worst. I hate that. They did that with Captain America. He lost the super soldier serum, so he had an exoskeleton, and I'm like, this is terrible. I hate this.
They did the same
This is
thing to
garbage.
Wolverine though when he like initially got his first solo run, and like the first thing they do is turn him into Patch.
Yeah.
I was reading that, and then I was reading like about how that was received, because I'll be honest, it wasn't my favorite.
His original solo run is pretty weak.
It's like the first
But
30 issues are.
It picks up really good when Cyber starts attacking him and like messing with him.
He's cool villain.
Because Cyber's like, scratch. And he's like, I forgot about your hypno acid filled claws.
You're
Well, that's right.
And then
insert
he's-
90s.
Yeah, he has like
Crap
these
there.
acid like hallucinations that are just like wild. And so whoever's doing the artwork just gets to do whatever.
Oh, hey guys, this is really cool. This is not Heroclix for Huntingtons related, but we do have our own charity going on, the IPF. We've talked about that enough. We're not going to focus on that today. But Blake Reimnitz in the chat did just donate $20 to the IPF. Shot me over a message.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Blake.
I do want to keep this mostly Huntingtons, but I will say
Yeah, we should.
Well, I do want to say one thing.
live stream next week.
Yeah, we do have a live stream
Yeah.
next week on Friday. It'll start around 5 or 6. We'll have more of the details on Facebook.
Yep.
I'll personally text you, Blake. You can use those $20 to do whatever you want. We're going to have different various challenges and competitions.
You'll see updates starting
Ways to
tomorrow.
hurt us.
every single day
And,
this week.
We will honor that $20 as something for the live stream. So, if you're around Friday, if you're watching, or if you're not, I'll like send you a video of it or something. We'll make that $20 worth your while though. So thank you, Blake.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Will Holland, I have read Streets of Poison. It's really good. Basically, I own almost every cap run from like issue 275 to like the 400s ish when it starts to become the 90s and Rob Liefeld is the artist, and it falls off there. That's when my collection starts to I don't care that much anymore, actually. So that whole Mark Grunwald run, and then also whatever it's called from 275 to past that I have, and that's where Streets of Poison is in, and that's a really good run. Also, all the best stuff is in that. Yikes! We'll do that. We'll do that on the live stream. I guess.
Blake, we will gladly answer those questions for 20. Hey, this one's free. We'll also do it on the live stream. Blake has a request for me to call his little brother a loser. Hey, Luke, you're a loser, bro.
Oh, is this Fridge Luke?
Yeah, Fridge
Absolute
Luke. Luke
loser.
Reimnitz. If there's any other Lukes in the chat, this is Blake
Apologize.
Reimnitz's little brother, Luke Reimnitz. Personally, for me to you, Luke, you're a loser. I know Luke. I was his best man at his wedding, so
Fridge
don't worry. I'm
Luke
not
is the
bullying him.
biggest
or
They
anything.
gave one of their kids the name Blake, and then they They must have really hated Luke if they gave one Blake and one Luke. Man, what a bad name.
He lost in pretty much every facet.
I mean,
of the
unless you're
Rivas
like
family.
from Canada, that's a terrible name.
Blake is like twice his
Wow.
size. Blake would crush Luke.
Oh, dude. So they really did. They named their kid Blake after Blake Shelton, I assume, and then Luke after Luke Combs.
Yeah.
That's way lower.
It's funny how their family is split. Everyone in their family is either built like Blake or built like Luke.
Oh,
So there's one time where we
that
were
sucks.
out for the 4th of July and we were like pointing at different members of his family. It's like, oh, this guy definitely specced Luke. Oh, she specced Luke.
She specked into
No,
Luke.
he specced Blake though. That's a Blake. And we were just dying at that. And Luke and Blake were both just like, shut up.
It's hilarious.
Actually, I don't even. That's such a side tangent.
Your family, everybody is specced to look like Ian and Ian's family, though.
That's not even true. I'm
you
like
and your brother are the exact same.
I'm a pundit square. Yeah, I know, but like everyone in my family is so short. My
Oh,
mom's
everybody
5'3",
else? Oh.
my dad's 5'9".
I've only seen you and your brother.
I'm
None
the
of my
tallest in my
relatives are
family.
tall.
I only know of you
Everyone's
and your
like
brother, so-
short.
In my
Really?
immediate family,
Oh,
I'm the
man.
tallest.
No.
Are you really?
Yep.
Rip.
Yeah, my
You are
dad's
the only boy.
no, literally, my dad's brother. So my uncle, he's 6'2", and then no, that's not his name.
Ah, I was
But,
so confident. No.
My uncle's
word.
6'2". His shortest son is 6'3". Then he has a set of twins that are 6'4", and then I think the youngest, or like maybe the middle, I don't remember. It's the middle. Yeah, the twins are the youngest, tied for youngest.
Holy smokes.
They're both like 6'6".
Oh,
or
so they
or
get to be tied for
something like
youngest?
that.
Not one of them gets to be older than the other one?
Yeah, this
They're
is
allowed to be
different.
tied?
Because I don't know.
This isn't like Earth X and Battle World where it's the same thing.
Yeah,
She's
I
so
don't.
much.
I don't know the specifics on which one was born which, but I do know the specifics for you.
Guys, do we have we'll do another like 10 minutes here,
364
guys.
days.
Just really quick. We're
Let's
starting,
start.
we're starting to lose watchers. We just
Yeah.
wanted to go for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Let's go back
Just to have a good
just,
time.
Oxid here, guys.
This won't save us.
No.
No, but we should cover it.
We should. No, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Oh, there's
So-
a donate to HDSA link right
Oh,
there.
there it is. Oh.
Direct donation right here, guys. I'll highlight it. So if you're looking to do that, obviously people want to do the auctions, the battle royales if you have the time. But guys,
Obviously,
don't forget, it is a 48-hour HeroClix auction. It's
That's a
starting
long
up.
time.
I don't know if all of the items are going for a full 48 hours or if it's different
Oh, it's
items getting listed
In
at
like
different
batches
times.
or something?
I think that's what it
Okay.
is. So like you'll
Join
see
the
batches
Oxid.
that are ending at certain times.
If you are interested, as you can see, they've got bricks, factory sets, Chase Prime sets, con exclusives, all the ones that were previewed in Scott Porter's latest live stream last weekend.
Yeah.
Everything like that is going to be up for grabs. So if you guys do want to get in on that,
It is a app only.
definitely join Oxid.
Yeah.
And this is the deadline. Looks like when things will be ending. Obviously, get there earlier than this so you can see if items are
2
rotating
days.
in the shop,
2 days earlier.
or if it's if it's going to
Also,
be all
it's
at
just like
once,
it's
or-
a fun like you can chat kind of in the community. and
Yeah.
they also do live streams.
It's really interesting.
I will say if you open the live stream, there's a chance that your app will crash. So like, be mindful if you're trying to win stuff and watch the live
What
stream.
you're going to want to do is get like 40 iPads so you can be bidding.
Is it on iOS? I don't know.
Yeah, it is. You
It's
can
on
get
iOS.
you
I've
can
had
get
it on my
Oxid.
phone before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Guys, get involved with the auction. It's super cool. It's a great way to do it. If you can't do the auction, or maybe you're just not interested, you can always play a BR too. Maybe you want to play BRs all day. Get as many Scott Crampton, Scott Porters, and Spirit of the Games as you can. I believe there's
Honestly.
more information on the. Yeah, here we go.
for $10, it's a very good.
I love that all
Amount
10
of,
goes to
10 a.m.
charity.
all day until
That's
it
just
close.
huge.
And
That's
once
just
again,
awesome.
Scott had talked about how Brad Broyles is running this and how he
Yeah.
is a OMA one-man army. He's going to be
He
doing
is.
this.
Big shout
on
out to
his-
Brad.
on his lonesome.
In the last couple of years where he's been running these kind of things, he puts in an insane amount of hours for very little like payback. And I mean, obviously it's for charity, but he really does go the extra mile.
He does.
And it is wild what that man will do for 4 days straight. I hope that he has like the rest of the week off to recover because
Sleep, at least.
But
Jeez.
we'll be popping into battle royals throughout the weekend. I know I'm gonna be trying to hit him up at least 2 out of the 4 days, maybe even all 4 days.
Brad
And
will be attempting to win a battle royale with Scott Porter, and we will be live streaming that. So we'll be sure to post about that, but check that out.
yeah,
Well, actually, depending on the day.
I mean,
For me,
it's
if,
easy to roll 20 it's easy to stream roll 20. It's like it's pretty simple.
too
It's
hard.
just a
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking, it's like if I'm playing in that, I have a wedding, so.
Oh, do you? Oh, never mind.
So we'll
if
figure
it's
that
that
out.
specific day,
We'll
yeah.
see what. Well,
We'll see.
if it's Friday, it's a no go for me. But and if Brad doesn't win the auction, there's a lot of factors there that we'll get into later. But we'll be live streaming a lot of stuff, guys. The online VR prizing, once again, seriously, there's a lot of value here. First and second place.
My leg's not bouncing, Ian. Don't touch me. That was
Your
weird.
leg was bouncing.
It was.
Whose was it?
It was
though?
his.
It was Simeon.
I was bouncing?
Sorry, I don't want my monitor to break.
Ian caressed my thoughts. Don't do that
Oh.
again.
What? I didn't do anything.
Oh, I thought there was someone in the
Leg cam,
chat that said something.
Leg cam, no. Guys, first and second place are going to get their choice of a bystander. Once again, that's Spirit of the Game, Scott Porter, and the brand new All Fours, Scott Crampton. Third and
Yeah.
fourth place are, so you'll always walk away with something, is you're going to get one random tarot card from X of Swords main Oro set. There's some value there, guys. So even if you're not playing the best, maybe you get a rough draft, you still have the chance to win some cool stuff there. So seriously, guys, get involved with Heroclix for Huntingtons any way you can. And if you are at all interested in competitive in the slightest, or if you are interested in Heroclix Arcana, Heroclix Americana, because it's American.
You have a chance of playing against us in those battle royals, and then also if
Buy
you
those Scott Porters.
if you and 3 other friends sign up, then 2 of you are guaranteed one of those bystanders. I know personally, I got the Scott Porter bystander the first year. I never got the Spirit of the Game the second year. I lost all those
Yeah, I
battle
never got
royals I
Spirit
played in,
either.
even though I paid for like 8 and I played in 4.
Man, that's
And
tough.
like they messaged me and they were like, "Do you want a refund for the 4 you didn't play?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. That's a charity thing." Like that's the reason I donated. I knew I wasn't going to be able to play in all of them. But no, I do need to pick up a Spirit of the Game, and I suppose I'll get a Scott Crampton. But honestly, all 3 of them, even in multiples, are awesome pricing for $10.
Yeah.
And then even
Especially
if you
when
don't get first
this
or
is
second.
the only place you can get them, guys.
Yeah.
So if
Quite
you
literally.
are a good draft player, you're looking for some more trade bait, play BRs all day. Spam these bad boys. Get that trade bait up, because I mean, Scott Porter, when he first came out, was going for 60, 80 bucks.
50, 60, yeah.
Yeah.
Spirit of the Game, a little less. I think that was like 50, 60. And
Mm-hmm.
this Scott Crampton 4-point enhancement is nuts.
It's really dumb.
If
4-point
range is
enhancement
everything
that
in the
can't
game,
be targeted outside of like people that see through stealth.
like
Yeah.
if range is at all prominent in any meta, Scott Crampton makes that team. I know people have talked about Spirit of the Game and Scott Porter in the same way. Those guys are 5 times the
Is
cost.
Scott Crampton
Yeah.
not like Carnage Surfer's like best friend? Like
I think so.
for
Like,
4
why
points,
not?
that's
Think
better
he
than
could be
most of the
Sakari
things he
and
can
Iron
equip
Man's
with.
2, he could be.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, geez, the
4-point
guy's
enhancement
insane.
is really dumb.
It's really, really strong. And then also, he had mentioned that he's like, yeah, I put Smoke Cloud on this figure because X-Men, it was tough for me to get Smoke Cloud on the team. And he is right that Smoke Cloud now does have more value in the game, where, a lot of it is like, I'm going to run up to you, I'm going to bash you. Getting some Smoke Cloud in front of you, if they have to stand in that, that's a -1 attack. So paying 4 points for a power action Smoke Cloud on turn 1, behind your barrier, under your figures for stealth, or just as a way for characters to sit on it, they get the reduction. It's honestly very strong. So a turn 1 Smoke Cloud and enhancement for 4 points. I mean, geez, like, you've sold me. If this guy wasn't unique, he'd be banned. That's how good this is. Like,
Yeah.
so seriously,
Yeah.
guys, pick up your Scott Porter con exclusives. Once again, 100% of that minus production cost goes to Heroclix for goes to Huntington
That's
Society.
really cool.
It's wild
really
that it's
awesome.
WizKid's
So-
already
I
so
was
cut the
just gonna
check.
cut
awesome.
the check as soon as that's insane
Yeah.
to me.
So like they don't even have to sell out. They're just already like all
And they
those
will.
figures already. Oh, they will absolutely.
should.
They'll have to do a second production run,
I
in my
think
opinion.
we are
sell
definitely going
out.
to pick up some extras to give away, guys.
Oh.
We will figure that out.
Buy as many as possible.
We'll see. We'll see what we can do there. Obviously we can't get them in time for our giveaway live stream next weekend.
No.
We don't want to go too into those details. That's not what this stream's about. But we will have some of them to give away either to Patreon members in our giveaway, possibly as like an IOU. We'll figure it out. But seriously, guys, if you aren't considering buying Scott Porter, whether you're competitive or not, you are messing up. This is one of the coolest things they've ever done in Heroclix. And he's also one of the most impactful figures 2 times over.
I would
So,
say
yeah.
if you liked playing theme and you're like casual and you're mad that like they stopped theme probs,
This is a great way to get a better version of it.
getting the Scott Porter that brings back theme
Reroll.
probs is amazing. Like,
Reroll any roll. Let's take a look at that. Oh my goodness, how
Yeah.
insane is this?
support at the beginning of your turn, heal any friendly character 1 click, regardless of adjacency, range, line of fire, blah blah blah, anything. 1 character gets healed a click. That's pretty nuts.
Yeah, he had mentioned pairing it with Blackheart himself. It's like, yeah, there's a lot
I mean,
of nasty
I
figures.
think the first thing that comes to most people's mind is a stop-click character. Like, really anything, but like Blackheart, Apocalypse, Genesis, like anything that like hits
anything
a stop
that stops is
and then
disgusting.
doesn't like immediately die. Like Blackheart especially hits stop, generates
Double stop.
Yeah, it hits double stop, but generates a Hellfire Guard. So he's not dying like that turn most of the time.
Reroll X DPS Nimrod and Silver,
Oh
says
my
Bill.
gosh.
That's fun, man. That's
That is
that's
really
a good
fun.
idea. On top of that, guys, this is easily the
Oh,
better
yeah.
Scott.
He does reroll Nimrod's roll.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
In terms of Scott Porters and Greater Scots within Greater Scots, this is the Greater Scott of the Greater Scott. And here is the Scott that still pick up sidestep
wild.
prob.
Oh, yeah.
Plus 1 attack for having a theme. Knockback Pulse Wave that doesn't target friendly characters. Carry this guy up next to him. He's not going to be their highest priority target. He gets 1 Pulse Wave off, there's his value.
I just talked
He
about
exists on the map, there's his value.
in a video that we haven't
Every
released
keyword.
yet. I talked about how 25 points is a good point line for probs. And
Yeah.
like he has just prob on dial with sidestep, pulse wave, toughness for 25 points, and he's 4 clicks long. If it was just that on his dial, just standard powers for 25 points, I'd consider playing him.
Yeah.
But then he also has 2
Insane
traits
amount of-
and 2 special powers, and he's a team player. So
It's pretty insane, guys. Also, just to note again, if you did not know this, because he has all keywords, just straight up has them at any time. If you have keyword specific equipment that you get for free, Scott Porter can have it for free.
Oh, he's dropping
Yeah.
the Red Lantern chainsaw.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, any lantern ring?
Yeah.
Scott can be a
He just-
blue
he
lantern.
just
Now he's
gets
got
it.
empower.
Oh yeah,
with
that
plus 1
too.
attack and damage.
Kind of nutty.
Also, we need to mention Space Ghost with the yellow lantern ring, double -2 perplex.
That's so dumb.
metal. That's.
yeah.
I also I like the idea of giving him the shocker gauntlets too. Free force blast that you can multi force blast with. That sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
Not as good, but guys, seriously, buy these. It goes to a great cause, and you'll get great value out of these. You will play these, whether
You
it's
really
casually,
will.
competitively.
I was gonna say, like,
It's also a great
I
display
wouldn't feel
piece.
bad
This is
playing
Heroclix
these 2
history.
figures casually because I know how to underbuild casually. I'm not gonna build like a Secret 6 with Scott Porter or both Scott Porters. That's not how I'm gonna build with them. I'm gonna build like Alpha Flight with both Scott Porters. And I'm
That's
like,
hilarious.
welcome to Alpha Flight.
so
Welcome
funny.
to Alpha Flight. You're both naturalized citizens now. You and your twin you. But no, like, there's good ways to play with these if you want to be casual about it. And then absolutely, I think these are going to be needed for competitive play, or at the very least, if you're not going to pick these up for competitive, you're going to have to swear off playing theme teams.
Yeah, he's the
while.
friggin' key.
Yeah.
If you're playing a theme team and you're not considering like what a global reroll, a global +1 attack, a global like support and heal kind of thing, not support, but a global like free heal 1 click. If you're not considering that when playing theme,
For 25 points, a 12th of your build.
Yeah. I guess I
think
don't
you're crazy.
understand this game if that's the
I
case.
think you're absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
And it was
Complex
cool.
sidestep, TK. Jeez.
Something interesting that came up is Scott said, like, originally, I don't remember if it was this one or the other one. He said originally he had in-cap.
I think
and
he said they both.
he said
had
that
in-cap
in-cap
stuff.
is such. He's like, when we got rid of in-cap on the dial, we had so much
So much
room
more
to play
room.
with.
And now I'm like,
And it's
Yeah.
like,
dang.
in-cap?
They still charge like so much for like the in-cap cost that you can fit 3 traits in place of in-cap or something.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
I
I
believe
don't-
that.
Did Alex
I have no
Wilder
idea.
have in-cap?
He did not have
did not.
incapacitate, which explains so much now.
Flash has in-cap.
Oh, he
I know that
does.
30-point charge has incap.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
never-
Yeah.
That's
In-cap,
probably
that guy.
what 70% of his cost.
It's gotta
Yeah.
be. It
He
has
would
to
have been
be, dude.
5 points without that in-cap.
It was really interesting hearing that though, where it's like, okay, like I don't necessarily want in cap. If we pull that off, like what can we do? And I believe his like verbatim response was apparently a lot.
Yeah, that's
A
wild.
So,
lot more, yeah.
The fact that I would love to see, like he said that he's like there wasn't the intent of making it like super meta. So I'd love to see the original drafts of both this one
Yeah.
and that one. And I really do hope that he lists the original sketching of the map.
The original sketch.
I want
of,
to see that so bad.
of the
Oh
Speed
my
Racer
god!
map.
As soon as he
Someone's
mentioned
dropping
that,
a couple $100 on that.
oh, easy. It's
You know what I
mean,
would pay for like an original sculpting without
I
the paint
know,
of like a
right?
Sentinel, like the OG giant
Oh, the-
Heroclix figure?
Or just like
Somebody posted one of those on
to
Facebook,
bring it back
and I
to
was
like
like, what
comics.
do you want?
The like the sketch panels.
Yeah,
For
stuff
like
I
different
have,
comic
I
books.
have
Dude,
one
uninked.
not here, but
Yeah.
I absolutely. It's
would be
like one of
really
my
cool.
favorite things I own.
I mean,
It's so
obviously,
cool.
like he's not like a famous comic book artist, but like I still think that during a charity like auction, that would probably go for at least $100, maybe.
I would think it'd be a couple $100.
I think so.
It's just the
It's-
novelty
that's
of it.
a
It's like a
Heroclix
relic.
piece of
Especially if
history.
like
Yeah.
you got WizKids to sign off on it and say that it worked.
Oh
like,
my god.
draw grid lines and it say it works the same as like the
I would
actual
love
map.
to just maybe
The
he
one
didn't,
for one
like,
variant.
You gotta wonder if
like-
it's the same size.
I doubt he one
No.
for one drew it out. He probably
No.
used some type of grid paper, like a smaller scale or something.
Yeah.
But like to then blow that up, how awesome would that be? To play that, the sketch variant of the map would be hilarious.
I would-
You know,
just done
what's
it on
funny
napkin.
about that is back in the No Man's Land event, there was like a map that you had to play on for month 6. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if that was everywhere, but it might have been you. And we didn't have that, but we had a Lord of the Rings map with a blank side on the back. So we looked up the image of it on Google,
drew it
and
out.
Luke and I sharpied it, and we practiced on that map. And I mean, we both lost
Practice.
that tournament, but that was
Oh my
my
gosh,
most
that's
like
funny.
meta days. We were like, we have to do this, man.
It feels like when you like actually practice
It
for
was so
something where it's
fun.
like an event. Because like, I tried to practice like memorize the dials for like Civil
for
War
shields and stuff?
'Cause-
On the
well,
way to
just-
Worlds
yeah,
or on the
Yeah.
way to Origins, like Nationals, I'd
then
literally
I
be
did
just going through the set
terribly.
list, just like,
just so bad.
oh yeah, like Dark Angel, yeah, he's 12, 11, 18, 4,
Oh,
6
even-
range, double
even
target,
during,
200 points. I still remember that. Like,
During War of Light and Age of Ultron, like they didn't have the dials on the back or the front
Mm-hmm.
at the time, so you're like going into this sealed event and you're like, things I need to worry about: Weaponer of Cord, what's he got on click 4,
Yeah.
what's he got on click 3, like what click do I have to hit him to where he's no longer a huge threat, what click does he die
That was
on?
my jam,
Those are the
man.
two things that you like.
I was really mad when they
You
put
lock
dials
in.
on the back of cards because it's like I have like photographic memory with dials at
Oh,
this point
dang.
from 20 years of like, man, in school they'd like kick me off the computers or take my notebooks because I'd write dials out or I'd be on the computer looking at Heroclix. So when they took that away, I was like, man, that is like one of my biggest advantages is that I know every like figure's dial.
I mean, people say like, well, that's not really Heroclix, that's like memorization, but at the
It's
same
fair.
time, chess is just memorization.
That's
so,
all chess
like,
is. Chess is not a strategy.
I
game.
mean,
It's
I
purely
think the
memorization.
best argument for adding them, and
Yeah.
honestly, I do like them. It makes team building
They
a lot
go.
easier.
The game goes a lot faster.
It is faster.
It
yeah.
gets rid of
Yeah.
gotcha moments too, where it's like, oh, you forgot I had a
loved those,
stop
though.
click.
Thought.
I loved gotcha moments, especially in sealed, where it was like, I'm gonna pensai you for 6, and you were like, ah,
Go ahead.
you didn't realize this character stops on click 2.
I mean,
Like,
city, baby.
that's
it's good
awesome.
and bad. I think when you're a
It's
newer
bad for
player, it's
them.
especially bad.
But, like,
though, like
I
when you
think
can't
that's-
reference what you don't know,
Yeah.
it's really tough. And so coming from that angle,
Yeah,
I understand
but,
what you're saying because I was kind of in
It's
the same
also,
boat
like-
where it's like I love to have that one up
Yeah.
on my opponent, but I understand why
It also
had
made
to change.
characters that were real bad playable because they might have a good click like mid dial.
That is true.
Like, what's the dude from AI, Maxim, who like he gets way stronger when he gets like knocked down. Like his
Sounds
last click is
right
like
for
a,
him.
it's like a 12 flurry, or it's like a 12 attack flurry, 4 damage, something defense, like a 20.
Yeah,
defense.
Bizarro dials really don't work in the era of
No,
visible
no,
dials.
that's like-
but they were never good.
Well, they were in sealed because people wouldn't know what
Okay.
they had to deal to him.
I
so
can think
they'd
of a
deal-
lot of, like,
they'd hit
what,
him for
Sebastian
3,
Shaw,
They'd hit him for 3, and
Black
all of a sudden
King.
he's really good.
He's
Who was
always
it?
sucked.
Tim Hunter
Bro,
from
that guy sucks.
Dude,
Oh,
Tim Hunter
always
was
sucks.
terrible, but he
Trinity
had that
War?
one click. Yeah, on
That
Trinity War.
skinny
Yeah.
Superman, the
Project Superman.
Project
Yeah.
Superman.
Superman.
Man, that guy's doo doo.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't
We
compare.
have a
him to
question
Tim
about
Hunter, though.
Heroclix for Huntingtons, though, that we should address. How does draft work online? It's pretty
so
simple.
It's they have a booster, an image of a booster in Roll20. You will click on the booster and hit like open or Roll2, and it will give you you just open 1 because it's not a sealed event; it's a
Yep.
battle royal. So
Right.
you'll just hit like open 1. It'll
Randomly
randomly
five.
generate 5 figures from the set, but it does it the same way that a booster would be. So you'll have like 2 commons, an uncommon, another uncommon, and like a rare, or 2 commons, an uncommon, a rare, and a super rare or chase or something like that. That's how battle royals work online. I think they are using, because they don't have the dials for Avengers 60th, I think they're going to be using Spider-Man Beyond Amazing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it would, like,
you don't get the figures.
I know they
That's
have
the
to
main
code
thing.
the figures in. Like, I think it's Jay who does that?
You have to like
Jay
physically
Major
layer
or something like that?
like how many clicks they have. You have to physically layer like that many dials.
Ugh.
or
So
at least
there's just no way that'll be done.
That's so
We haven't seen a single dial for, or wait, have we?
Two.
no,
We've seen 2 from Avengers.
it won't be
60th.
done for Avengers.
There's just no
60th,
way.
because
Yeah.
they're literally
Okay, they're so
mega
forgettable.
pre-releasing it at that
We kind of
event.
are. I mean,
Yeah,
we
so
saw 2 commons. You know.
it would be. Jay Patel's the one that normally
Jay
does that.
Patel, there you go.
Yeah.
Sorry for not remembering your name.
Yeah,
But I appreciate the work you've
been
done.
awesome at like getting that stuff done. I know I played in several like online Wonder Woman 80 or Wonder Woman 60th,
80th.
80th,
It is 80th. Yeah, you're
Wonder
right.
Woman 80ths like online events where you pulled 2 boosters that way, and you didn't get like the physical figures because they're not real boosters, obviously, and it would just be
You know, I thought they
cost
came
prohibitive.
through your computer.
Yeah, you just like you wouldn't download a Heroclix figure, would
Well,
you?
that's what faxing is. You
Yeah.
just print it off his fax machine.
You know, you just open your
I
disk drive.
fandangoed my boosters.
You open your disk drive and it's a Heroclix dial that you pull out.
Oh my god.
It just 3D prints it on the spot.
Guys,
No, it is great though. It's really fun.
Yeah, I'd say we.
It's we'll stay here for about 5 more minutes here. Does anybody have any other questions about Heroclix for Huntingtons? Any questions about Dial H? I guess you want to know anything about upcoming projects. You want to hear about the live stream. Ask us anything here. We'll stick around. We'll hang out and we'll answer your questions, and then we will get out of here. But thank you so much for sticking with us.
Absolutely.
The Scott Porter interview. I mean, seriously, I want to highlight again that we really didn't think we'd get much time with him, and the fact that he took time out of his day to stay as long as he did,
It was pretty incredible.
and to answer some of the ridiculous questions.
Some bad ones.
I had
Yeah.
no idea that when he was talking about the Voiceplay cover of Halo, he's like, "Yeah, those are my old high school buddies." Like,
That's
really
cool.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, that's how I got my start." I was like, I kind of knew that, but I didn't realize it was from this YouTube group that I've seen
It
on
makes
and off.
it makes way more sense though.
Pentatonics were really
Yeah.
big. They were
Oh yeah, Pentatonics are the acapella people.
Well, that's
Voiceplay was the
yeah.
one that they came before Pentatonics, but I remember people would be like, "Oh, Voiceplay already did this" in the comments of them and stuff.
Yeah.
I was a fan.
Pentatonics is like when it became mainstream basic kind of stuff.
What day is the IPF live
This
stream?
Friday.
Axel?
It's coming Friday, April 28th, I believe.
And we will kick off probably around
Yep.
5:30, 6 p.m. We will have all the
I
details.
would
posted
love
tomorrow.
if we truly go 24 hours. I would love to somehow start at 5 to 4 o'clock, so that way on the back half of 24 hours it feels a lot
you can
easier.
come back and enjoy yourself, or you can stay with
I
us.
mean,
the whole
yeah.
time.
Yeah, we'll obviously hit our 5th wind at that point, so we'll be
Oh, you're
perfectly
right. We'll be in
lively.
full stride.
No, it'll be done in shifts. We are going to increase we haven't posted the prices yet, but we are going to increase the price that it takes to come
Yeah, it will
on
be
the
an
live stream.
exponential. Well, no,
Oh, that
sorry.
too, yeah.
For extending the live stream up to 24 hours,
Yeah.
it will cost more for each hour that
Yeah,
you buy.
extending the live
Sorry,
stream-
I thought that's what you were getting to, Simeon.
No, also if we haven't decided yet, but if we do some sort of this much to take a shot or something, it will be also an exponential because we're not looking to die on the live stream.
Also that.
But
Yeah, this may be a relatively alcohol-free stream. Maybe I'll shotgun a beer or 2 or 5 or 10.
I mean, if people pay,
We'll
it'll
s-
happen.
We'll
Maybe
see.
I'll try a
But,
beer or 2 or 5 or 10.
We've got guys. If you want to see something, it's in a relatively similar place here, but we have a multi-camera setup, so we'll be able. Oh, sorry, Simeon. Goodbye, Simeon. We've got multi-camera setups now, so we'll have an open area to dance around, do challenges a bit. Here's our normal setup.
Our physical
Here's where
challenges will head.
If anybody wants to come on,
a
we'll have a
different camera.
similar setup like we did with Scott.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
that'll be pretty cool.
We might even leave Scott's name there so you can pretend to be
So you
Scott
can,
Porter. But no,
see
it will
tomorrow.
be so last year, or not last year, but the last time we did a live stream charity event, it was $30 to come on to the stream. I think we're going to increase it a little bit from that because $30 is a low enough bar where if we give everyone that pays 30 minutes, then we're just basically focusing on that for a really long time, and it takes up a lot of our time. But we will figure out what the best price point is, what people are still willing to pay, that kind of thing.
So we've
And
got
then
another question.
We'll
though.
always have
Sorry.
the open
Yeah.
challenges as well.
Will asks, I have a question. Would it be worth it even if you can only go, if you can only get there Saturday morning for the Avengers 60th stuff?
Only if it's pretty close.
Yeah.
That's what
If
I
it's
would
within
say.
2 hours, yeah.
You could
Let's take
drive
this away.
You
If
could
it's
drive 3 to 6 hours.
that would be my max. Is 6 is
Yeah.
really pushing it. I think 3 to 4 is the sweet spot.
I
Where
think
I would totally
6
go.
hours
I think
to pull 2 rares.
2
That's the
hours one
biggest
way.
thing.
2 hours
Ick.
one way is the best. Like the best, like. Or
I like to think about it.
Not
like,
the best.
You
That's
would go to
the
Sioux Falls,
most.
though, which is 3 hours away, one way, 2.5 ish.
Not specifically for that.
Not
though.
for that, but I'm
No.
saying like you would go up there for pre-release sometimes, or even
Yeah.
events that
And
don't have
and
as
I'd
good a
pull like
pricing.
2 rares. Yeah.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? It's like
So yeah, maybe 2.5 is okay. It's just you have diminishing returns. Anything.
you do. The
anything
biggest thing
after
is
2 hours.
you should really ask the day before. So if you are in a position where you can get there within 4 to 5 hours or so, you should also ask the day before, hey, what's the numbers looking like? Because if there are over
That's true.
80 people, then you're getting one booster,
booster.
beyond amazing and one
Well,
of a 60th.
From
He
from
says
the
it's
postings.
he says it's 4 hours away. So
It's 4 hours
how do we
away.
feel about that?
If that's the only day you can
If-
make it, I'd heavily
I would
consider.
go. Honestly,
I mean, I would-
If it was
if it
me,
was closer,
and
we'd
I
all
was
be
4
going.
hours away, I would go there the whole time. You know what I mean? But
for
if you're
one
only
day.
going to go for one day and you're going to have to make a 4-hour drive back, that's probably the toughest part.
Yeah.
I would still go because I like Avengers, and I'm excited for Avengers 60th, and I really love Sealed, and I want to see everybody there anyways. It's more than just Avengers Sealed. It's like seeing the community, hanging out with everybody. I think if it was 4 hours, I would go, but it's up to you.
It really.
I wouldn't say it's
depends.
worth it though. I wouldn't say, oh, if I want to make my money back and my time back, it's
You also-
not worth it.
You also have to consider.
But I would go.
Even if you're not a competitive player, you have to consider if you make top cut, you're not getting out of
Jeez,
there until
that's
fairly late, and then you have a 4-hour drive back home. Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, I mean, we'll honestly think about the factors outside of Avengers 60th. You know, what else are you getting from it in terms of like value? And you know, maybe there's some ways that you can participate if you want to play some BRs that day.
I was
you
gonna
know,
say, even
see
if you
people
can
you haven't seen,
Get
like,
there the night
could probably be
before,
worth it.
come in early, play
feel
some
like
BRs, or play
There
BRs
is a
the night
chance
before, that
if you
kind
have
of thing.
friends with enough people in the Heroclix community, you could bum in a hotel room or something.
Yeah.
It's a bit much, but you could ask.
I mean,
Could
and you,
always
yeah,
see.
posting like players and collectors around the world on Facebook and see if there's anyone driving past you
There
or
you
driving
go.
like near you where it's only like 30 minutes out of their way, or maybe you meet them halfway.
See if you
So it's
want to
not a
carpool
full
with a group of
4-hour
people
way. Yeah.
from your locals.
That does make it a lot easier. Keep in mind, if you want to plan on going there one day, they're probably planning on being there for the weekend.
Yeah.
But I would say, personally, for me,
I think
I
4
wouldn't
hours
go
I'd
for
do.
I wouldn't go for 4 hours for one day. If it was 4 hours for all 4 days or 4 hours for 2 days,
It's a no-brainer.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
honestly, like you can get a lot of gameplay out of the online stuff for
Mm-hmm.
not having to drive at all.
So we have one more thing here, and then guys, we've been live for almost 3 hours now.
Yep.
Thanks for sticking with us.
And we're gonna be live for way longer later this week. So we don't
Yes,
need,
we
don't need to do
will.
this.
Nope.
We got one more comment from Luke Reinetz. He says, Jade says
Oh.
her cowgirl hat is better than Calder's.
I bet her cowgirl hat is better than mine because I don't have a cowgirl
Sorry, I
hat.
forgot to remove
Stunted
that
on.
person from being able to comment.
Yeah, I was about to say, why is
Yeah.
Fridge Luke? Ugh.
All right, guys. Well, I
The
think let's just
permanent
do some
ban,
quick
Fridge Luke.
final
here.
thoughts, and then we will get rolling. So I think I'll just start by saying again that thank you, Scott Porter. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on our show, and thank you for answering all the questions that we had. For me, I don't know how it was for the viewing experience. It felt really natural to talk with him. He gave very detailed answers. Like you can tell that he is so enthusiastic about
cares
all this
a lot.
stuff. And so getting to hear, you know, about the design process, making a map, how that was like, you know, all on him. Just all the information he gave to us. I hope it was unique from the other shows that will be coming out later this week. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Personally, I thought it was amazing. That was my first like real interaction with Scott Porter, and it's definitely a memorable one. So it was awesome.
It was pretty awesome. I'm not gonna be long-winded. Simeon wants to go to sleep, so.
Yeah, it was enjoyable, and I'm glad he was. Not only did he take his time out of this day, but he also was doing 2 other podcasts before us, and so like obviously he's tired of talking. I mean, maybe not tired of talking about this, but just tired of talking in general. I would assume at this point.
Yeah, like 5 hours. If
yeah,
you get the same amount of time.
Probably.
For them.
But
jeez.
the fact that he was willing to give us so much time and talk about things just like outside of the normal questions and stuff was awesome. And yeah, obviously one of the cooler parts about going to Huntington's is you get to meet Scott and you get to talk to him, play with him in person, that kind of thing. And I've never met him in person, but I've heard he's very personable, very fun to play against. So keep that in mind, I guess. But, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it. please make sure to go check out everything that we talked about here for Huntingtons.
And
There'll
be on the
links
lookout this week
and
for videos.
for the live stream. Seriously,
Yeah.
live stream is going to be
Just
April
follow our
28th,
socials.
5 to 6 to maybe 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be on the lookout. We'll be posting literally every day about it.
Yeah.
It'll be all over the place. But
Follow our socials. Why?
follow our
And
socials.
There's 12 of
On
you
the
here.
IPF
Follow our
Facebook,
socials.
you'll have the opportunity to enter into the giveaway. So make
Yeah.
sure you're following the IPF.
That's
because
true.
That is how you will get direct entry into all the cool stuff we're giving away,
Ah,
which
finally.
will also be posted.
A
and
good
shared.
Luke in the chat,
I
finally.
know, right?
So-
Finally, we had
Wow.
good Luke as soon as we ended.
Great shirts all around.
Yeah.
Thank you, Luke. That's a great way to end it. Great
Absolutely.
shirts all around, guys.
Actually a sweater, but we'll take it.
I do have a great shirt.
Happy trails. I said happy trails.
I said
I said
happy
I said
trail.
happy trails.